60605. It alleges Casey talking about Kel shooting and at some dice
at a gambling spot, which I believe under the state's theory is kind of one of the incidents that's the genesis of everything, of the disagreements between the groups. And my objection is that Kenneth Copeland is basically telling the police that Kel shot up the gambling spot, but even in his own statement, his identification of Kel, now, let me be clear. He does say he was there, so it's not that he wasn't there, but from my understanding of his statement, he didn't know, no one knew who shot up the gambling spot. No one identified Kel, who's Kelvin Watts at the time, but afterwards, apparently, according to Mr. Copeland, Kelvin Watts told his girlfriend or a girl that he knew at the time, whose name's Trevia, about what had happened and apparently made some confession, according to Mr. Copeland. And then Trevia tells Kenneth Copeland. So it's double hearsay. And certainly, even if Kelvin Watts to Trevia would fall under a hearsay exception, Trevia to Kenneth Copeland would not fall under a hearsay exception. So it's hearsay, and he doesn't have a basis in knowledge.
Morning, everyone.
Object to its admission.
Good morning, y'all.
Your Honor, the information about the gambling spot has already come in based on the January 11th interview in which Kel discusses, if not January 11th, February 20th, but the two interviews that have already been played before the jury. Mr. Copeland has already said in both of those interviews that there was this incident at the gambling house in Lakewood, and that it was Kel who did it. And more importantly, when he met with Kel at the Cascade skating ring, maybe the next day after this gambling incident, that he talked to Kel about the shooting at the gambling house, and that it was during that meeting at the Cascade skating ring that Kel got on the phone with Mr. Williams, and Mr. Williams asked for Kel to pay for the window that was shot up at the gambling house. So one, the evidence is already before the jury about the gambling house. How we get to who told him is irrelevant, because it was the effect on the listener, meaning Mr. Copeland, that once he gathered this information, he's using this to try to squash the issues between Copeland and Kel.
Morning,
and
everyone.
So when he's relaying to Detective Gaither the beginning of the conflict between him and Copeland, he's just now reiterating how he got the information that Kel did it and what effect that had on the issues between the two of them. So who told Mr. Copeland that it was Kel is irrelevant to the sole fact that he thought it was Kel. That was kind of the beginning of their issues with each other. And as a result of knowing that it was Kel who did the shooting, Kel then in turn confronts Copeland Copeland in turn confronts Kel about this shooting. And during the course of his confrontation of Kel, also had a conversation between Kel and Mr. Williams about the shooting that occurred. So this portion as to how he found out it was Kel
sounds like a lot of hearsay to me. I just heard a lot of hearsay.
While hearsay is really effect on the listener, but this is already information.
Oh, no, at least she admitted it's hearsay.
But it's important, Your Honor, because let me say this, that the
Thank you, Tavonda.
is arguing that Copeland consistently lies. What this shows is that Copeland's giving the same series of events to multiple different investigators and multiple different interviews. And so that shows that at least back in 2015, when he's recounting his history with him and Kel, he's telling different investigators these same series of events that occurred leading up to the murder of Donovan Thomas.
Well,
But I'll read the section for you if you want to.
we already know the judge is going to rule in her favor. I mean,
And I'm going to start at 6:03:22.
at this point, it's like, why do we even make arguments?
But that's what it was about. Then they got mad. So G got jumped in the club by NBC. They said, G, we ain't got you because you be with them. They asked the G, why they ain't got you? I don't know why. It was, no, but the whole time they gonna kill them because this is a gambling house. We go hang it and gamble. We go there and gamble.
Y'all, I could barely understand a word this man says.
Kill them in the bush. Kill Stewart. And they never mentioned the third person name. In the bush, they started showing me that they shot so many times. Yeah, I did. I'm glad they're like, huh? In Lakewood. They shot so many times. They shot down in everybody's car. But they missed everybody. They graded one person across the bed. But when police can't hear, left. A couple people left. But they
Couple people left.
But this is the same like NBC jumped on the deep. So they did it and they seem like NBC did. But I go over and going home. I stayed out about 2 or 3 years. So I was telling them like, damn, y'all ain't gonna come out there. Y'all trying to kill me. What's up, bro? And they like, hell nah, are you tripping? Like, bro, we ain't shit out there with one of those NBC niggas. Like, bro, we ain't got no problem with that, bro. You just, y'all jumped on the deep and deep with me, bro. I'm on the stage. I was like, nah, bro, y'all tripping, bro. In my tongue, bro, nah. They keep trying to get into the face. Nah, the next thing you know, Big Boo came up there and one of them on swarm. She grabbed the D off stage, started jumping on the D. I ain't know it was a D. I'm thinking they wanted them jumping on them. So I went back to look. See, the D, them got shining in, and he blamed me shit. Oh, I'm swearing you, bro. And he couldn't talk. He like, and I was seeing the hammer. But now they shot you too. So he went down hammer now. He went to the hospital. So I had to tell him on with him. And Pinky went down there with him. Goddamn, the next night to be at gambling house. They ain't not putting no pictures. We in that gambling. They take pictures and shit. Then he came out there and shot at it. I really found out who killed. He had got to it with Red. And she was talking to them. She came back and told her, like,
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here.
Like they did. Because they shot it and they went and shot it Monday spot. Monday we got into it with NBC name.
We're watching them live right now. Good morning, sweet lady Sugar. Sugar. Good morning, I'm her. Good morning, Harvey, Reginald, K-Way, SR, Hippieista, Danny, Tracy, Beautiful Goddess. Good morning, everyone.
This gambling spot was shot up, according to Mr. Copeland. It was assumed that it was people from a group called NBC, because according to Mr. Copeland, Mr.
I like
Kendrick
Shard's suit
had
today.
gotten into some sort of dispute with someone from NBC around that time, is what Mr. Copeland's saying. I don't know if that's true or
Mr.
not.
Kendrick, Mr. Garrison.
Y'all,
Mr. Kendrick.
Tavonda sent
I
me
think
these
he
ears.
says Monte. I'm assuming Mr. Kendrick might not. Maybe someone else named Monte. And I don't know if any dispute occurred. But what he's saying is it was assumed it was NBC, and then through hearsay it came out that it was
Sweet Lady Sugar, we're going to get into the Weinstein motion today.
through hearsay through.
I don't know when the court will see it,
And
but
so
we will
our
discuss it
stance is
today.
that hearsay effect on the listener is much narrower an exception to hearsay than the state's been
Trying to use it
putting
as.
forward
Hey,
in
F.
this
Cherry.
case. Throughout
Hey,
this
Tracy,
case, it's been
plants and
a minor
pins.
effect on the listener quite a bit. I don't believe that it's quite as easy to get around the hearsay rules under just saying effect on the listener. And
Shard is
his
correct.
knowledge- He's giving a historical narrative of this event, and his knowledge of who committed the event or committed the act is based entirely on hearsay. So we.
Okay, but what about the issue that we've heard testimony already about the gambling?
Then it's cumulative.
Then the shooting of the gambling.
Then we've
house.
already heard it. Now it's
We've
cumulative.
allowed that in
Hey,
the
Fitness
past,
God,
and that's on the
Tracy.
defense counsel for not flagging that. But at this point, it's cumulative if it's come in already.
I believe it's already been testified to. In fact,
Okay, at this point, I'm going to pause it real quick. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I am Lauren Cadillac. I am an attorney in Dallas, Texas. I practice real estate law, which means I practice in the courtroom. I am a courtroom attorney. I am not a criminal defense attorney. I cannot help you with your criminal case. These gorgeous earrings were given to me by the lovely Tavonda. I received them yesterday. They're replicas of Lying Love's earrings, but they're better because I'm Lauren and I don't lie. Okay, we'll get back into it. Right now we're watching them live this morning. And then we will talk about the Weinstein Supreme Court motion, all of it. We're going to get into the goods.
I think Mr. Copeland earlier in his direct he's testified about that on the stand, about the shooting of the gambling house and this kind of historical perspective.
At this point, then it's cumulative and
okay, well, in that case, Judge, it's cumulative.
We have missed it in the past. We're flagging it now.
Okay. All right. Any further argument, Mr. Weinstein?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Matthews?
No, Your Honor, just stop.
Ms. T. Williams? Mr. Harvey? Sir? Turn your mic on, sir, please.
I can't hear Harvey.
I want to adopt what Mr. Shard said with regard to the effect on the listener. Effect on the listener is usually most often used to as evidence of motive. It has not been used in that sense, and therefore it has been abused and continues to be abused as the basis for the admission of these clearly hearsay statements.
Preach.
So, for example, in Gates versus the state at 298 Georgia 324.
One more time, Gates.
Gates 298.
Doug's
Georgia,
sound asleep. Oh, no, there he just woke up a little.
There were text messages admitted that were sent to the defendant's girlfriend, not for their truth, but for the effect on the defendant in establishing motive for a murder. That's the usual basis upon which hearsay statements are admitted for the effect on the hearer. That is not the case here. This is not the defendant. It doesn't establish motive. So I would adopt and expand Mr. Shard's reasoning.
All right, sir. Mr. Steele.
Nothing to add.
All right, sir.
Okay.
Excuse me.
This judge is always sick. I mean, I get allergies and shit, but, I mean, he is always sick. You would think he could afford to send his kid to a school or, like, do a homeschool or something. I mean, I was sick all the time when my kids were in school, and now I homeschool them so I don't get sick, and it's fantastic. SR asked if I saw when Hilton cited Steele's case to defend her argument. The best grade I ever got in law school, I used the exact same words to argue both sides. I used the exact same quote to argue both sides. So that's just good lawyering. All right, you should be... There's a lot of people in Dallas who are into swingers, they're into polygamy, that kind of thing. And what I like to say to them, I like to use their exact argument. Marriage is between one man and one woman. Okay, those people were screaming that at the top of their lungs in 2010 and 11 and before that. But then you want to go out and be at a swingers club and white swap and all of that. No. So if you're a good lawyer, you're going to use the exact words another lawyer says against them. That's what I like to do. K-Way, I don't know why I said he's getting it wrong. He read it out loud while we were on the live, and he saw that he was wrong. I don't know. Good morning, everyone. I really appreciate that you're here. Tavonda got me these lovely earrings, and if y'all want to send me things, please do. I would love that. I would love if you come to the office, but please make an appointment ahead of time. I do charge $100 for consultations. Nothing in this world is free, particularly my time. So if you need a consultation, give us a call at 972-845-1200. But let me tell you, you're going to prepay that consultation before you're allowed back here in this office, okay? Oh, we're trying to be safe here. YSL Graham, good to see you back. What is a continued objection? Okay, so a continued objection, in Texas we usually call it a running objection, but basically it's, I object to this, then the judge allows it anyhow. And so instead of having to say I object every time it's brought up, every time something happens, you just have a running or continued objection so that the record is clear that you are objecting each time, but you're not interrupting us. We're not having, you know, the stop and go. Okay? Oh, look, Hilton and I are doing the same head move. Hi, Cece. Welcome. Y'all, I be watching Attorney Love and her crazy ass antics, and I am telling you, I would have smacked that bitch in the face. Would have smacked her in the face by now. Notice she's not at the table today. I don't see her today. Yeah. Because I'm guessing Hilton has told her, like, back off, bitch. That's my guess. That's my guess. K-Way, I saw a short interview with Bumpus where she said there were 14 people in the room. 14 people in the room. There cannot be privilege. Unless all 14 of those people were employees of the same law firm as Bumpus, then there's no privilege. So the judge saying that he's going to review the transcript for a privilege check is shocking. What privilege could anyone assert? A room of 14, that's like a party. Like, if I ever had a party, at most 14 people would show up. I'd be like, damn, this is everyone I know. All 14 of you have arrived. There's no privilege. That cannot be privileged. Period. Tracy, I'm glad you saw me. Make sure you, all of you that are here this morning and today, make sure you hit like and subscribe. My children are just amazed. I have over 50 members, so thank you, channel members. I appreciate you. That is evidence that I actually have people who pay attention to me. So I am able to show that to my children and then them think I'm at least somewhat cooler than I probably really am. So I really appreciate all of you. All of you that have hit liked, all of you that have subscribed, all of you that send Cashapp, all of you that do super stickers on here, I cannot thank you enough. We are almost earned enough to pay for the new computer, and then our next item of purchase is the new camera, because we did figure out we have a really good mic here, we just didn't know how to use it. Y'all, Nikki Hilton is out here bobbing her head. She is listening to the sound of her own drum right now. She was probably on her way into work listening to Young Thug. Gangster rap. Sometimes when you're on your way to work, that's inspo. I gotta tell you, to get pumped up before trials, I used to listen to 3 6 Mafia's Who Run It. That really pumps me up. Who run it? Me. Who run it? Me. So, I'd be jamming my 3 6 Mafia, my little Mercedes, driving to the courthouse. Oh, shit. Hippies, it says, homeschool my child as well. Best thing, yeah. Okay, I homeschool my son. He's thriving at college. My daughter is homeschooled. I do an online homeschool, so I'm not actually teaching them anything because, God, that would be a nightmare. But they're going through my daughter has like a whole classroom online virtually that she does. And then I don't get sick, which is awesome because I hate getting sick. And back when she was in school, we were sick all the freaking time. Hey, Tamika, thank you for joining us. Look, 3 6 Mafia is where it's at. I mean, I can almost repeat all of Who Run It to you. But I'm not going to. I'm going to spare you the pain. Y'all, I'm surprised the judge is reading and doing research right now and not taking a comfort break to do it. Yesterday, they took like 15 hours of comfort breaks so they could work on stuff. And of course, we'll look at that. And then yesterday, YSL IP Weinstein filed a motion to the Supreme Court, and we're going to go through that. When I saw it yesterday, I went, oh man, this is salacious. This is salacious. So, Tavonda calls us court geeks, and I love that. I love that saying, Tavonda, and I appreciate that. We're all court geeks together here. And when we go over what Weinstein followed, all the court geeks, that's all of us court geeks are like, oh, if I had pearls, I'd be grasping them, okay? Like, we are clutching our pearls right now. The salaciousness of the motion, it is so interesting. It is so good. It's so good. I'm not going to read it to you guys word for word because I read to you last week, and I'm sure it was awful. But we will go through it. Hey, Mike Jones. Hey, T. Jones. Oh, no, T. Jones, don't be saying on yesterday. Don't do that to me. You know I hate that. Just yesterday is sufficient. All right, well, while the judge does his job, I'm Lauren Cadillac, a.k.a. OG Cadillac, a.k.a. Mom, but only 2 people can call me that, so don't even try it. And we are watching the Young Thug YSL RICO trial out of Fulton County, Georgia. I am a civil attorney, meaning I practice civil law. I do a lot of litigation in the courtroom. I am very much a courtroom attorney. However, I started watching this trial in particular because I was interested in the First Amendment right issues and, you know, the whole using lyrics against someone and art and free speech. So I started watching, and man, it has just been a train wreck ever since. It's been fascinating. It's been so fun to watch. We're on week 27, but like month 9. Month 9. There's 4 weeks in a month, right? 4 times 9 is what? 40? No, 36? I don't fucking know. So we should be on week 36, not 26. That means 10 weeks of break have been taken. 10 weeks of break. Y'all, I am a huge fan of Bruce Rivers, who is a fellow lawyer YouTuber. And he is actually a criminal defense attorney, and he's been doing some reactions lately to this trial. And he has said it, I have said it, but when he said it, I was like, okay, then I'm not crazy. Like, I was right. This judge cannot manage his courtroom. Period. It should not have taken almost a freaking year to voir dire the jury. It should not have taken a year to find a jury. It should not have taken this long. And when we read this writ that Weinstein wrote, we'll see there are requests with this court that are 2 years old that this court hasn't even looked at. I mean, the name of this court's game is delay. DELAY, delay. There's no sense of urgency. There's no, like, gee, lives are on the line. Maybe I should do my job. It's very much government employee. Glanville is giving me government employee, y'all, all day, every day. He's like, I want to be paid, but I don't want to actually do anything. I just want to go on a break. Crazy. It is crazy. Faye, I am going to do a whole special on impeachment, and I will probably do that special next week. Or is it next week? I actually don't know what day it is today. Hold on. Let me look at the calendar, Faye. No, I'll probably do my impeachment special the week after next, because next week I think they're going to have like a normal week of court, but the week after, the 4th of July week, Judge is already talking about they're not going to be working. He's already contemplating how they can get out of work on 4th of July week, as if like getting out of being in front of the jury this week, like it wasn't enough. Okay. So, I will do my impeachment bonus, my impeachment special, but I'm guessing that I'm going to be doing it the week of July 4th. Now, on July 3rd, I have an all-day, my most important day of the year is when I do my Dallas County property tax protest. And so, SR says Glanville should work in the DMV. Yes, Glanville should be like the HNIC of the DMV, okay? Because he is exactly how the DMV operates. He is exactly how the DMV operates. My goodness. Good morning, Red Bunny. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you made it today. So I will have the impeachment bonus, but I'll be doing that the week of 4th of July because I'm 97.836% sure that the end of today, Glanville's going to tell everyone, well, we're not actually working 4th of July week. Although I do think he threatened that they would have to come in and do motions hearings on the 5th of July. I don't see that actually happening. Harvey says he wants to be Lance Ito. The thing is, Harvey, Lance Ito did his damn job. Lance Ito showed up to court, and Lance Ito didn't take 855 comfort breaks a day. Okay, now I remember I was very young when Lance Ito was presiding over the O.J. Simpson trial. I was like 6th grade, maybe 7th, maybe 8th, I don't remember. I was really, really young. And I remember that they did 8 hours worth of work. All right, they did not do this, like, I'm actually only going to do 4 hours worth of work in the day. And do you think Glanville's even reading case law right now, or is he just, like, checking his email? Is he on Facebook? Who knows? I don't know. K-Way says he's working like Gaither, show up and do nothing. Yes, Gaither was the one who said on the record that she didn't like responding to 911 calls. She said she didn't like to do her job on the goddamn record. It's crazy. Crazy. F. Cherry says she thinks they're going to be off Friday the 5th. I don't know, man.
All right, folks, we're going to take a comfort break. Just take 5 minutes to come back.
Now we get the comfort break.
At that point in time. 7, okay?
Hey, Your Honor, before the state did want to respond to what Mr. Harvey said, and so I didn't know if we could get an opportunity to do that prior to the court's ruling.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going pee and I'm taking my phone. Wow. Okay, hold on. Oh, I was like, I'm behind. I'm not up to time. Good. I'm glad I'm behind because we can skip right through today's cover break.
At Gates, Your Honor, specifically the portion in which they talk about the effect on the listener. Yes, this was a murder case, but what it says, and this is in Division
2. I have it up.
Yes. And when you read the fullness of it, it says, for a statement of counsel hearsay, it must be offered in evidence to prove the truth of the matter asserted. And it cites the statute. Here, the declaring statement at issue was, you're ever lonely, you can call me. The text message sent along with the naked pictures was not offered to prove that Gates' girlfriend could in fact call or had permission to call Wilson if she were lonely. Rather, the text messages were offered to show its effect on Gates and in this case, his motive for committing the murder. An utterance may be admitted to show the effect on its hearer. See also Miller v. State, 275 Georgia 32. For such a purpose, the statement would not be hearsay as it was not offered for the truth of the matter asserted, but for the effect or lack thereof on the hearer. As such, Gates claims that this evidence was inadmissible because it was hearsay without merit. Here, again, Your Honor, learning about the fact that Kell shot at the gambling house, what Copeland took with that information is he confronted Kell about it. They had a discussion about not just the gambling house, but all their other issues that they had with each other. And then furthermore, during this interaction, which was, I believe, the next day after the gambling house or some time later, Mr. Williams then speaks to Kell about that shooting that happened at the gambling house, and specifically about paying for the window. So again, Your Honor, it's not about what, and I believe it's Gucci Red. I think Mr. Shar said that it was Trivia who said it, but I believe he said Gucci Red told us it was Kell. That information is what he used to confront Kell about what happened at the gambling house. So that's what the state wanted to add.
What's your response to the defense's assertion as well as cumulative? Because it's been testified to.
Because, Your Honor, defense counsel assertion is that Mr. Copeland lies about everything. And so what his reiteration of this incident shows is that not just in the February interview, not just in the January interview, January 11th, He talks about it, I think, briefly in January 28th and February 20th, that he's reiterating these events to different investigators to talk about the history of what has occurred between them. And if he's such a liar as they want to purport him to be, that he would not be able to recount this historical perspective to the detectives that he is meeting with. So while he's repeating the story, he's repeating it to different detectives at different times to show that he is at least consistent with the historical events that lead up to Donovan Thomas's murder.
But he said he's a liar. It's not the defense asserting that he's a liar. It's Woody said he's a liar. Woody said, I lied. I lied.
I've had an opportunity to consider your arguments as well as take a look at Gates 298 Georgia at 3.
And hearer is not a word.
As well as
at all.
Garner versus the state at 342 Georgia Appeals 824. Both of them stand for the same proposition about effect on listeners. So I'm going to permit the inquiry area of 60325 to 6. Hold on, get back. Hold on. 60325 through 60605. All right. I'll give you a continuing objection. Defense counsels is with respect to that. Let's move on to.
Why even bother asking the judge? We already know he's going to rule in favor of the plaintiffs.
1920 through 620.
I mean, the prosecution.
20.
Why does the prosecution even make a counter argument? Like, why not let Shard make his argument and then just not even respond? Because you already know the judge is going to rule in your favor.
Investigation where he's a victim. He says he's concerned they will put the discovery on IG, so Instagram.
Yes.
Okay. Can you give me the page references, madam?
Yes, Your Honor. So page 173, line 7.
Plans and pens, the judges are always playing solitaire. They don't really need to pay attention.
So, Your Honor, here is another example of Mr. Copeland stressing the social ramifications of cooperating in this investigation. Again, when I say this investigation, I'm referring to an investigation against people that shot at him allegedly outside of his house while holding his child.
Oh my God. Always with the cop.
We get into this, it's almost bolstering. It is bolstering, where he's showing a fear of testifying, but again, it has nothing to do with these gentlemen. It has nothing to do with the investigation of these gentlemen seated in court today, but it has to do with an entirely different group of individuals that are allegedly associated with an entirely different group.
But the prosecution would have you believe he's afraid of thugs.
In this case, it creates the impression that Mr. Copeland is universally opposed to cooperating, universally fearful, universally has been threatened or feels threatened. But the reality is he's expressing fear, reluctance, and all the rest regarding an investigation of an entirely different group of individuals.
An entire decade ago, by the way.
To confuse the issues, it's unfair prejudice towards our clients where there's absolutely no evidence that he's been fearful, that he's been threatened by any of these gentlemen or anyone associated with these gentlemen. So we would argue that it should be excluded under 401 and 403.
Okay. I wonder why Shard is making all the arguments today. I wonder if him and Steele talked it out. Like, hey, I'm gonna go do it today.
Madam, can you play it, please?
If I were Hilton and I knew a camera was right behind me, I would be a lot more concerned about my panty line, if I'm honest. Okay, do y'all know who this lady is that's interviewing? Oh no, here. Okay, I know who that lady is. I know that's Miss. I don't like to take 911 calls.
And that car that's gonna put them there. Like you worried about the wrong thing. I'm worried about when you get locked up, when you get a skirt, maybe see I certain get your picture. I put my name on there. You're gonna send.
Y'all, I hate cops so much. Gaither telling him he's worried about the wrong thing. Bitch, you don't know. You don't. First of all, you don't know what the fuck I'm worried about, and secondly, you don't know what's the right and wrong thing for me to worry about. Ugh. I hate cops. Ugh.
And out to the screen, be like, I done told on him, and they gonna put it on Instagram, Twitter, and they gonna tell everybody, and then guess what? They gonna start like, damn, I'm gonna be just like what then? I'm gonna nobody won't be around. So you worried about your reputation as opposed to your life and being a free man? It's up to you. I don't want to go back and forth. You gonna do it or you not?
And Your Honor, that's the conclusion at 6/1944, and Miss Weaver, we started at 6/1906. And Your Honor, may I respond?
Yes, ma'am. What's the state's response to Mr. Shard and the defense attorney saying that violates 401?
I'm sorry, guys. The panty line is driving me fucking crazy.
One, this is impeachment by contradiction. Again, in court, Mr. Copeland.
She needs some
has
Spanx,
said
is what she needs.
That they forced him to pick out Tay. And that he was not afraid of snitching or telling the police who did it, but that Tay did not do it. So one, this is a contradiction.
I'm just gonna say, at least it was all us ladies who thought about it and not the boys. But like, that's why I wear those Spanx shorts under dresses like that, okay? Because that way you ain't seeing nothing. You don't see any cellulite. There's nothing for the imagination. It's all hidden.
And to both of those assertions that he made in court, here again, for the totality of the case, Mr. Copeland, back in 2015, and we believe even now, does not want to come to court to testify against whether it was Tay or these individuals. So this shows, one, he contradicted his testimony as to what he did back in 2015 as it relates to Tay. And then two, it shows not that he's fearful that anyone's going to harm him, because the state has never asserted that any of the defendants were going to harm him. What the state has asserted is that he does not want to come and testify against them. And this is a prime example of that. So for those two reasons, we believe that this portion should come in. Additionally, Your Honor, when Mr. Shar says this had nothing to do with this case, that is not true. What Mr. Copeland is talking about in this interview is a retaliatory shooting that occurred as a result of Donovan Thomas being murdered. So again, putting this all in context, Mr. Thomas was shot and killed on January 10th. Over the course of about 6 to 8 weeks, there are multiple shootings. We went over that yesterday, Your Honor. And one of the final shootings was on February 19th when these group of individuals that were associated with If Gang shot at him, his child, and his baby. And they're trying to get him to identify who one of those individuals were. So it does have something to do with this case. It has something to do with the overall retaliatory shootings that occurred as a result of Mr. Thomas being murdered.
Yeah, I saw what he said.
In this section, he talks specifically about having to come to court. Like, that was his concern here. Like, I have to come to court and I'm going to have to testify about this. He was concerned about doing that. And Your Honor, we believe that that is also why he's changing his testimony.
Kat, I'm going to get into the green when we go over tomorrow. I do not understand the green the women are wearing over and over again. That is not courtroom green. Yeah, Hernandez, fam. I mean, she doesn't have to buy real Spanx. Spanx are expensive. But the generic kind, come on. Hey, Amelia, welcome.
Mr. Matthews.
And I'm guessing if Hilton does have friends, they're definitely not watching this.
Mr. Harvey.
Because if they were, they would call her and be like, bitch.
Okay, all right.
I'm sending you some Spanx.
All right, in considering the both sides' arguments...
Ms. Hilton misquotes everybody all the time.
401 being relevance for prejudicial or the state's assertion that is impeachment by contradiction. The court does find it is relevant.
Again, why does the state even make an argument back? We already know the judge is going to find everything for the state. Such a waste of time.
So I'm going to allow it.
No, Hernandez fam, I didn't change my hair color. I just washed my hair today. It's just clean.
All defense counsel.
This color is called clean.
This covered number 9.
Yeah, K-Way, I don't know how any of this shit has anything to do with RICO. How any of this has to do with Thug. How does any of this have to do really many of the defendants?
And as you framed it, Gaither gives speech about the need to put an end to the shootings. All right, sir, go ahead.
I was gonna. Yeah, can we just play it and then?
Yes, sure. It's page 181, lines 8 through 12. I'm gonna start a little earlier at 6:26:22.
I definitely.
And I understand that, but you gotta help you right now.
God, I hate cops. I hate how they say shit like that. Everything they say makes me so angry. You are never, ever going to come to this channel and hear support for the police. So if you are one of those back the blue folks, you probably want to move along, okay? Because, she makes me sick how they coerce people. I saw this video recently. This man, his father was at LAX, and the police grabbed him up and told him he killed his father, and they got him to confess to killing his father when his father was alive at the fucking airport, dude.
Trying to get a stop to all this back and forth shooting. You trying to back and forth shooting? See, they only shooting at you. Shit. We trying to get a stop to this. And we pulling every resource in the city that we can, but we can't be everywhere. So if I gotta pick these motherfuckers off one by one, waiting on evidence to come back, then I'm gonna do what I gotta do, but you gotta fuck it. I'm doing what I gotta do, but help me out.
I don't know how any of these witnesses are expected to remember any of this shit.
Hell, man. Why did I go through this, man? I don't know, but I'm into it. Bruh, I'm ready to get started on the aftermath.
Did she have jeans on? Did she? Holy fucking shit. I cannot believe what I just saw. Oh, hold on. I'm going to try something Gary Indiana taught me. He said, use the arrow key. Oh, did it work? Did I go back too far? Y'all. Hold on. I'm trying to get there. Sorry. I'm learning the arrow thing. I'm learning how to use the machine, y'all. What the fuck? Where did it go? I know I saw this woman just lean over. Damn it.
To make the identification so that she can move forward with her investigation, Your Honor. So again, as the state said earlier, that's in contradiction to what he said here in court.
Did I imagine? No. There it is. Y'all. I'm sorry. I'm fucking speechless. I am speechless. Who wears jeans to court? What the I don't even let my clients wear jeans to court. She's on the prosecution. I've seen this girl sitting in the back table for months now. She should know. She has on, I don't even own jeans. I have like 2 pair of jeans. I don't wear them. I have 2 pair of jeggings I kind of wear here and there if I need to go out in the public and be like casual than I usually am, because I'm a lawyer. So most of my clothes look like Miss Hilton's dress. Like I wear clothes that I can wear into the courtroom at any given moment. Like in my outfit today, I don't have a blazer on, but guess what? I have one back here because if I get called to court, I need to be ready to go. She is in jeans. Diana from Brooklyn. This girl right here, I haven't learned her name, but we're going to call her YFN Jeans. Y'all, what the fuck? What are they doing in Atlanta? I'm not even going to wear jeans on August 13th when I go visit. If the trial is still going. Which, by the way, if the trial is still going, we will meet at the courthouse after the lunch break on the 13th. Do not fucking wear jeans. Do not be there with me dressed casually. I will not let you sit near me. We're in a courtroom. We're going to have respect. I'm going to be wearing a suit because I'm an attorney. I'm an officer of a court. Okay? But if we don't have court, we'll just do the meet and greet on the 13th. And you can wear jeans to the meet and greet. But you cannot wear jeans to court. If any of my viewers, if I find out any of my viewers is ever caught wearing jeans to court, we're done. It's over between us. We don't wear jeans to court. We have manners and we dress properly. All right? YFN Denim. Thank you, Jiggy. Yes, YFN Denim over here. I swear to God. What the fuck, y'all? Miss Knight is her name. Thank you, Coop Wireless. Holy fuck. So y'all can wear jeans to the meet and greet, but if you come to that courthouse, do not talk to me if you are in jeans, because we don't wear jeans to the courthouse. That's crazy. Oh my, I can't. This is so shocking to me. I had to take a whole break right here to just address this issue with y'all. Look at this. And just because you threw on a fucking blazer does not make your jeans acceptable in the court. Do you see any of the men wearing jeans? No, you don't. You know how I dress for court? Whatever the men do, I do. You know why? Because men have been in the courtroom for like 400,000 more years than women. Because they used to not let us be lawyers. They used to not let us have jobs, right? So they are setting the standard. They created the standard. Fuck it. No, F Cherry. It is. Maybe she did pay $5 to wear it on Dress Down Friday. And I'm sure they're like, oh, well, there's no jury, so I can wear jeans. Absolutely unacceptable. Although I will say one time I did do one criminal case one time. And I went to court and there was a lawyer doing some kind of prove up there and she had on fucking flip-flops, y'all. I am talking like cheap $2 Old Navy flip-flops in the courthouse talking to the judge. She's at the freaking stand talking to the judge. I was like mind blown. Mind blown. I was taught manners, okay? You don't go out to the courthouse in jeans. You don't wear flip-flops for the courthouse, and you don't wear curlers in public. Unbelievable. She's upholding casual Friday law. I mean, you guys, I just can't believe that they're doing this in Fulton County. I cannot believe, if she's a fucking lawyer, that she has, I can't believe it. I cannot. Like, I can't even think of a time that I might wear jeans to the courthouse. Maybe if I was doing some volunteer bullshit and we were told to wear jeans, then maybe I would. But y'all know I ain't doing no volunteer bullshit. All right, so let's get back into it. I mean, it's just crazy. She's in fucking jeans in court. And then the judge is making rulings in their favor. They can't even bother to wear the appropriate attire, and he's going to rule in their favor.
I'm ready to get started on the aftermath. I'm ready to get started on that. I can't work towards homicide. I'm picking up the pieces of the aftermath for the homicide. Here.
Your Honor, we're stopped at 627.
So, Your Honor.
Answer.
Yeah, Karen, she could have worn black jeans, colored
These
jeans.
Statements
Would at least be
are
fancier.
allegedly prior statements. I mean, the reason we're playing for the jury over our objection, the defense objection, is because there are prior statements by Mr. Copeland.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. But YouTuber 530 says, can we address braid etiquette? I wear braids every day, but rarely down to work. I just can't. Why not? I think her braids down, actually, these braids I think look cuter down. When she had them up, they were all right, but what is it? Is there a rule to not wear braids? Now, I'm not going to be able to wear box braids like that to work for several reasons, beyond just like how fucking stupid I would look. But like, is that something, YouTuber 530, you don't feel comfortable wearing your braids down? That's really interesting. I have not heard of that. Jose, I am. Who has been brainwashed about clothes in court? Clothes in court need to look nice. It needs to look really nice. The judge had a bright orange t-shirt under his robe. He's no better. Well, I agree. If he's wearing a t-shirt, he is no better. It's crazy. Every time I've seen a judge, like, off the bench, like, one time I had a trial, so the judge is on the bench with her big, ugly robe. Part of the reason I could be a judge is I wouldn't want to wear that damn ugly robe. So the judge is wearing the robe, but then she come off the bench and come talk to us. And when she talked to us, she had her robe off. She had the cutest freaking suit on. I swear, the suit was so fly. I was like, oh, I didn't even know you knew how to dress, Judge. Damn. So, yeah, no, I expect better than that in a courtroom for attorneys. Yeah, Karen, I would look like Bo Derek, but stupid. And, I see YouTuber, they get in the way. I could see that. It says, Miss Knight is not a lawyer, she's the state, Mr. Kokomo. Okay, that's fine, she should still dress appropriately. She should, at least she's not an officer of the court. But she should still dress appropriately. You have not seen Kokomo in jeans, have you? Every time you see Mr. Kokomo, he is dressed to the nines, appropriately for the courtroom. There is a whole judge here in Dallas, and if you go to his courtroom and you don't have like you don't have a tie, he will say something. He is also the fashion police, as it turns out. That judge is also the fashion judge. And he will straight up, I've heard him tell lawyers, you're dressed too casually for my courtroom. Like, damn. So I make sure I look, super primo in that one.
We have the non-declarant, Investigator Gaither, just talking about the need to end the shootings and how she's going to end the shootings, and the city's putting every resource into ending the shootings. And it really, we're all citizens here. We're all city of Atlanta. We're all Atlantans. Mm-hmm. It's not the city versus these gentlemen. It's not supposed to be the police force in the city versus these gentlemen. And it's supposed to be a neutral. And that's the impression that the jury is given when they're exposed to, again, this speech. I call it a speech, but whatever you want to call it, by Investigator Gaither, where she presents this as, look, it's, the city and all the authorities and the police department, we're all working to try to put an end to these shootings, and it's you guys and Mr. Copeland, it's your information that will put an end to it, and it's your group that's involved in all this. I believe it's inappropriate. I believe that it invites the jurors to consider it invites them to take into consideration factors that should not be considered in that jury room. And it's essentially an improper argument. If it was made during closing, we would argue that it's an improper argument. It's just because it's not a closing argument doesn't make it not improper. It's improper for the jurors to hear that type of talk by Investigator Gaither, especially considering the whole reason that this tape is being played over our objection is not for Investigator Gaither's words, but for Mr. Copeland's.
Okay.
So
again, why even bother
responding?
responding?
Look at this in totality, Your Honor. This starts off with Mr. Copeland saying, "Why do I have to go through this, man?" And Gaither is then going into, "I need you to do this. I need you to identify who it is so that I can get started on my investigation, so I can continue my investigation. I can continue my work." So while Mr. Sharp calls it a speech, she's responding to Mr. Copeland saying, "Why do I have to go through this?" And if you look at his body language, he was struggling to move forward and just make the identification. Mm-hmm. And so she's trying to encourage him to go ahead and make the identification so that she can move forward with her investigation, Your Honor. So again, as the state said earlier, that's in contradiction to what he said here in court. What he said in court, they were forcing him. No, they were talking to him about it. He's responding back to her. I believe in court he may have said they made him say Tay. That's not true. That's what this shows as well. And so given his in-court testimony, This is contradicting what he said here in court.
Again,
Any
just a
further
waste of
arguments,
time.
Mr.
We already know he's going to roll in their favor.
All right, Mr.
Also, I don't like
Atkins.
that cam on color.
Ms. T. Williams.
I don't find it
Mr.
attractive.
Harvey.
I don't think it's complimentary.
Mr. Steele.
Your Honor, I don't see why this adds anything. I join everyone else, Mr. Shard's argument. The detectives said we're going to pick them off one by one. Every officer is going to be working. The state
Doug is bored.
is saying that
How bored
Detective
he is.
is encouraging Mr. Copeland. That's not needed. That's not the purpose. We don't just play recordings of me speaking with a witness to say I was encouraging the witness. This is just an out-of-court statement offered to bolster the detective, and that's really not appropriate in my opinion, and it's irrelevant under 401(2), and then 3 would be waste of time. A lot of this, these are, the state wants to play, these are, I believe,
Redundant.
18 hours of recordings.
18
At
hours?
some point, they don't get to just play all these recordings, so I would object.
18 hours of recordings of Woody? That's
I can
ridiculous.
respond to Mr. Steele specifically, if the court may.
Yeah, I'm in trying to kind of see why.
Yeah, Lakeisha, lumpy is exactly how it makes it look.
Before it starts, we're trying to stop this. We're pulling every resource in the city. We can't be everywhere. So if I gotta pick these motherfuckers off one by one, waiting on evidence to come back, then I'm gonna do what I gotta do. But you gotta fucking I'm doing what I gotta do. I'm doing it. I'd be inclined to.
English is so weird. It's so weird how people like say like quarter sentences, like how he just repeat. When you read a transcript of people speaking, it's wild.
Take that out. But the other stuff would be admissible under impeachment by contradiction or relevant.
So which line, Your Honor?
Line 8 on page 181, line 8 through line 12.
What? The judge is actually ruling in favor of the defense?
I agree with Mr. Steele. It doesn't really add anything to it, and it's for the reasons he mentioned, okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Anybody else have any other comment or any other argument in regards to number 9, 62630?
Yes, Hernandez. He said
Versus
motherfuckers, and he
62730.
said fuck. The judge did. He read that out loud. He's reading a transcript, though.
Other than that,
It's not his own
particular
words.
Admission, omission, or exclusion from that'd be page 181, which is a state's transcript, lines 8 through 12.
Wow, I'm shocked. He's actually ruled in favor of the defense.
The
That's
rest is,
unbelievable. He's actually
can be
limiting
played.
something for once.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And I'll again admit an over objection and give a continuing objection. Does the defendant still maintain that none of this is proper and this should not be played? So, okay. All right. Number 10. Number 10 is 6:30:30 through 6:31:50, and you are saying that that's 404A evidence about
Hernandez fan, I doubt that they have people watching these
Mr.
videos.
Stillwell
They're the government. They're like doing other work.
and inappropriate comments about character.
Yeah, 404 A and B.
Welcome, PC 76.
Okay. All right, sir. Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, Ms. Hill.
You want me to? You want to play it first?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Let's play it. What transcript page is now?
Page 185, line 17.
And no, SR, I don't think the judge can silence Woody on that ex parte meeting. We're going to talk about that when we get into the
6:31.
Weinstein motion.
Yeah, she wasn't looking at the TV like how it is. I really thought it wasn't. I I didn't think they need to try to shoot me. I'm pretty sure I thought we were going to try to kill. They showed wrong. Well, I know him.
Welcome to Paralegal Membership, PC76. Thank you so much for joining. You're our first join today, and I really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who's joined our membership and who sends super stickers and Cashapp. We appreciate you so, so much.
Shit, he been on Twitter going back and forth saying, yeah, what the hell? I'm telling Sam, why the hell you ugly? You on Twitter?
Look how anxious he is.
Because I know he ain't just going to sit and let it ride like
Thank you, Mom.
Shot at and all that. I know that. And you know what I told him? Now that's what he deal with. I'm going to have to pay him. You know what Sam told me that night they shot me in bed? You know that night? I was crying. And you know that night? Man, bro, hell nah, bro. We just can't. I'm like, bro, fuck this shit, bro. Let them have it, bro. Let them have it, bro. They kill me, bro. You know what's going on, bro. Just stop it. Tension, police involved with it, start with, but we ain't going to jail, so we ain't do, bro. I'm not going to tell you, one of the folks think we did this shit, bro. And that's what I told him. He like, she looked at it. She like, bro, I'm telling you, bro, they kill you, they hurt you a day, bro. They got to kill him, too. Just like him, bro. They don't get your shell out of it, bro. We already in the bad way. We with people we never thought we'd be with, bro. Bro, fuck that shit, bro. Never have it. That's why I really ain't getting in there.
Hey, We the Jury. Hey, Paradox True. Yeah, Woody has gotten really famous from this. I hope Woody rides the wave, too. I hope he does.
This testimony or this out-of-court statement by Mr. Copeland about my client has absolutely no relation to any charged conduct in this case. It's propensity evidence. There's no evidence of something that happened that I know of. There's no evidence of something that happened after this date that was supposedly done on behalf of Mr. Copeland in as payback for either the January 28th shooting of Mr. Copeland in the car, or shooting at Mr. Copeland in the car, or the February, I guess it would be 19th shooting.
T. Jones, I think all of them are crooked.
Or shooting at Mr. Copeland
because that's a wall with a door, so they kind of shake. We can't figure out how to get them to sit right.
In their car. My point being, Mr. Copeland is essentially saying that Shannon has encouraged him to, and said, we need to get payback for them shooting at you. And Mr. Copeland saying, no, I said, let it be, let it be, let it be. This is not testimony about any act that's charged. This is mere propensity evidence that Mr. Stillwell is someone that when something's done to him or one of his friends, he's going to seek retribution from the other side. And again, if the state had a overact, and I'm making this up, that happened on March 3rd of 2015, where they allegedly saw a car that was shooting
damn cough, y'all, in the mic.
January 28th, then I would say, okay, maybe that has some relevance to this specific act. But there's no act that's charged. And what the state wants, essentially the logical conclusion based on hearing that is,
PC76, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. I really appreciate you so much, and I'm happy to bring you this content. Thank you so much.
You know, a hothead that seeks revenge. That's propensity evidence. That's exactly what's not supposed to come in under 404B. And so I would object. It's improper character evidence. It's improper propensity evidence.
Okay.
Answer. Okay. I'm going to use Mr. Adams' favorite saying, easiest decision I'll make today. All right. Anybody else have any other comment about so part 10, 630, 30 through 631.50? It's going to be omitted. Anyone? All right.
Oh wow. Okay. The state acquiesced and said you could omit it. I don't know why the judge can't turn his head to cough. It's really not that hard. Hey, Seashell, welcome. Glad to see you.
The flaggings of Mr. Sharp. Does anybody else have any other time periods they wish to discuss?
Maybe the judge has long COVID or something.
Mr. All right, thank you, Mr. Steele. Mr. Harvey?
Hey, B, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you caught alive. Welcome.
Mr. Matthews? Mr. Weinstein? Okay.
And everyone that's here, please make sure you hit like or subscribe. Or both.
No,
Do both.
With reference to my
Here comes
continued objection for severance and instructions with regard to all of this evidence, I don't want that to be deemed to be a waiver on the record.
Okay, Mr. Harvey, in no way, I'll note it again for you that you have moved for severance and for 105 instruction, which the court is going to give you a continuing objection on, but I'm going to deny that this time again, okay? All right, sir. Okay.
Okay. Kobe, I do think I'm really real. I'm a Virgo, so I'm an Earth sign. Nunu, I'm glad you caught alive finally too. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
All right, counsels, let's talk a little bit about
yeah, Harvey, I do agree that the nose blowing is the code.
I believe that you all have, as well as it pertains to Mr. Copeland, June the 10th interview, which is the longest one. It's 9 hours. Is that correct?
Whooping cough.
All right.
I'm glad Love's not here today too.
You've all been working on.
And thank you, Cuba.
I'm going to ask the state first, and then defense counsels in terms of what you've identified as to what you're going to play and what you wish to omit.
I agree, Paradox.
We sent to defense counsel, I believe on Monday, the areas in which the state intends to redact. Yesterday evening, Mr. Shard, I think, sent me a portion of the areas that they would like redacted. We haven't had the opportunity to look at those. And then I believe Mr. Adams was supposed to send me the secondary portion of that. And so we'll be looking through that over the course of today.
But Keisha, Harvey was out last week. I don't know where he was.
What, if any, areas we can agree to?
Hi, D. Sheely. Welcome.
Once we finish talking about June, I will briefly just want to get some clarity on February 21st after we finish the June discussion.
Seashell, I bet the courtroom is more pleasant. I can't wait to go.
So we submitted some redactions for February 21st. And I don't know if kind of along the same lines of the conversation yesterday, if there are areas that the defendants
Shards giving it. I love it.
that the state intended to redact. And if there are those same line of area, we understand the court's ruling from yesterday, but we just wanted clarity because we don't know. And that could be an offline conversation I can have with Mr. Shard.
Love is always doing too much, y'all. This Love is always doing too much.
I think I can answer this. After speaking with other attorneys involved in the defense of other individuals, I believe that there is an objection to the redactions of the timestamps identified by the state. We understand that the state, in
Hi,
their
Mrs. Mondo.
presentation of the case, they may choose not to present some of these excerpts when they play the tape.
Which tape are we referring to?
February 21st, 2015.
All right.
But I believe that the defense is going to seek to admit portions that the state is not going to seek to admit.
And certainly that, we can have a similar discussion that we had yesterday, or I can authorize, unless there's been a specific objection, I'm going to say you can play it during cross-examination. Like similar to what I did yesterday.
Yes.
And that's fine, Your Honor. We'll object at the appropriate time.
What do you mean that's fine? You don't get to decide that's fine. I hate it when lawyers talk that way.
Most of the things that...
I'm glad that that's fine with you.
Let's just clear argument to the contrary. we'll be fair game on cross. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's talk about the June 10th interview. So, is it possible for you all to, like, consistent with this has been very helpful for you all to identify the time periods and for us to work down through them and have discussion one way or another? Are you all in a position to potentially put something together by Monday, and so we can kind of go through the June 10th interview?
The good news is we're all operating off the same transcript for June 10th, and there is a transcript.
I agree, voice. They have definitely rushed.
I believe the transcript's about 550 pages. I made it through 380, and I've identified the specific spots that I object to, and I believe that other attorneys involved in this case adopt my arguments for those first 380. Mr. Adams is diligently working. He's identified the rest, and he is going to send that information over to the state at some point. I don't want to speak for him, but I know he's been working on it. So I think that the state has given us their proposed redactions, correct?
Correct, Your Honor, but I think we're going to be in the same position. So we really need their redactions, because I think the state is, we're going to redact what we're going to redact, and if they choose to want to place certain portions, we can object at the appropriate time. So I think we really need to know what their redactions are in order for us to have a meaningful hearing, hopefully on Monday.
So right now they have about 2/3, just by the transcript length, about 2/3 of the redactions, and then Mr. Adams is going to get them the rest.
Mr. Adams, will you be finished by Monday?
Oh, absolutely. They'll have them.
No, Ron, the judge has not tried to flip the script. And welcome. Good to see you.
All right. So we'll work on, now, as it pertains to, since we'll probably take most of the day with that, I'm inclined not to call in our juries.
Okay, no jury Monday. Let me write this down. Let me write down the schedule.
Yes, and there's 11 of those at 2.5 hours.
So Monday will be another motions only day. Okay. Yeah, Candace, Hilton needs a stylist big time. She needs some help. I kind of feel for her. Maybe when I go, I can meet with her and pull her aside and tell her what Spanx are. Miss Holiday Inn, I need to talk to you real quick. Come over here. Let me tell you this magical miracle called Spanx, ma'am. And please don't ever wear that camel color again. God, that color does not compliment anybody.
And then, you counsel, as you all recall, Tuesday the 25th, we'll probably just work from about 9:30 to about probably shortly thereafter lunch. So my inclination as well, I don't think we're going to probably finish with our, it's possible that even if we, that we'll spend or exhaust most of Monday the 24th
More coffee.
and Tuesday the 25th, getting through the 10th and or 10th of June, as well as the jail calls, and we may not even be finished with those. So
thank you, Candace. Tavana got them for me. She sent them to me. Aren't they fabulous? I love them.
Unless somebody has something to the contrary.
They're like Lying Love's earrings, but better.
Anybody? Okay. I mean, I just don't think we'll be in a position for them to hear anything at that point. All right. Which leads me to July 1, 2,
How's that lead
and
you to
3.
July 1?
More than likely, we'll probably use, if we don't finish up our business with the jail calls, we'll probably take that up on Monday the 1st of July.
What?
Tuesday.
Hold on. First, John, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Thank you. It turns out I had a great mic. I just had to figure out how to use it, and I did that. The new computer, we're almost there. Thanks to your $20, John, we're even closer, so thank you so much. I've already got the new computer, so this is just to pay for it. But then my next step is to get a new camera, because I feel like this one's a little blurry. I feel like the earlier one I did this week, I looked really blurry. So that's the next goal. Okay, so here's what I'm confused about. So Judge just said he was just talking about June 24th and June 25th. And as we all know, the show cause is scheduled for June 25th. Then he skips ahead to July 1st, as if June 26th, 27th, and 28th are not days. Like, I am so confused. What about the 26th, 27th, 28th? Now, if there's no trial on those days, I'll do my impeachment video on one of them. Okay? I will do my special bonus feature on impeachment. All right. Hi, Gigi. Welcome. Oh, yeah, K-Way. He is definitely avoiding discussing the transcript at this time. Plans and pens. I don't know why they didn't go over this before the trial started. This is just a fascinating trial. It's so bizarre. This judge is not managing his courtroom how I would expect. All right, here we go.
We'll probably do the in-camera review of Mr. Copeland's ex parte matter.
Okay.
And
Oh.
I will give you all more pinpoint instructions on that particular time and date. But it more than likely will be the 2nd or the 3rd of July. So that's our kind of work schedule at this point in time to clear those issues before we call back our jurors.
Marley, welcome.
No jury for the people going to the floor.
Probably
Hey,
not,
Alexis.
is what I'm thinking.
Okay, so no jury next
I
week
may tell them
or
that,
the week of 4th of July.
so they can adjust.
Okay.
They can govern themselves accordingly.
Okay. Cool. So if there's a day off of court next week, I'll do my bonus about
we have a fair amount of
impeachment.
stuff to take care of. So, all right. Anything else?
No, Raynette, I'm going to get one of these
Cassie,
cameras that
time?
blurs the lines.
If not, I'll see you all
Oh, whoops.
on Monday the 20th.
So they make these cameras that like fuzz you and blur the lines and make you look less old. So that's what I want, actually, Raynette. That's the kind of camera I want. I want the camera that makes me look younger. Okay, guys. For all of you who are just arriving or you're new, I'm Lauren Cadillac. I am an attorney in Dallas, Texas. I practice in real estate, so that means I am a litigation attorney. I am in the courtroom. I am a courtroom attorney. I am not, however, a criminal defense attorney. So if you have a real estate related issue in the state of Texas, I am here for you. And my number is 972-845-1200. I do not offer free consultations, so don't even bother asking, okay? And please, please, please do not show up at my office without an appointment. But do feel free to send me beautiful earrings, y'all, like these ones Tavonda sent me. I love them so much. They're like Lion Love's favorite earrings, but better, because they're on me. And they're from Tavonda, and I'm not Miss Lion Love. Okay. All right, here we go. So, hi, Enye, welcome. I am going to go into Diamante Kendrick's emergency petition for writ of mandamus and stay of proceedings. Okay, before I do that, though, let me just say this. At this point right now, the Supreme Court is about to review the contempt that Glanville made on Steele. In reviewing that contempt, it is more likely than not that the Supreme Court will ask for a transcript of the ex parte hearing. if the Supreme Court asks for that transcript and they receive it and read it, and there is in fact information and things that happen in that meeting that create reversible error, which I'm guessing, I mean, the meeting on its face is reversible error in my mind because they didn't notify the defense, but I'm guessing they're going to find this as error. They are going to stop the trial, and they are going to essentially call a mistrial and make everyone start over. Okay. Now, so that being said, I don't believe that on August 13th, when I come to Atlanta, that there will be a trial. I hope there is, because it's my goal to come see it in person. I would love to. My daughter asked me to get signatures of the lawyers. Of course, I want signatures of the lawyers, and I want to try to get some merch and some signatures for y'all. But I don't know that there's actually going to be a trial. Okay, I'm thinking by August 13th, the Supreme Court of Georgia is going to have reviewed either Steele's contempt or this emergency petition, or both. Okay? And once they get their hands on that, then, I don't think we're going to see any more of this trial. I think it'll be a mistrial, and they'll be forced to start over. All right. My consults are $100 currently. They're $100 for 30 minutes. That price could go up next year, though. And I will gladly fight Trek. I will gladly defend you against Trek. And I definitely complain to Trek about people all the time. Okay? Okay. YouTuber 530, thank you. I have no plans on cutting my hair anytime soon. It's the first time in my life I've had such long hair. And, like, I understand now, when you get long hair, you, like, kind of don't want to break away from it. It's, like, becomes part of you. So, okay. Let us go now to this writ. Notice how I just coughed and turned my head. Turned my head from, like, you can cough and not do it into the mic. I would love to let Judge Glanville know it. Yeah, Seashell, I did see that that merchant said this would be reversible error and they would have to pause the trial. All right, so this was filed on 6/20, and I have to believe that right here, Douglas Weinstein and Jay App. Jay App is the other bald guy who's been in the courtroom with Yak Gotti before. I don't know if this Katie girl is the blonde girl that's been in the courtroom with Yak Gotti. I'm not 100% sure. However, if you notice today, every time there was an objection, the judge specifically said, "Mr. Weinstein, do you have anything?" And I am guessing that is because Glanville has read this document, okay? He seemed very sensitive to the needs of Douglas Weinstein. All right, I was watching another YouTuber who was like, holy shit, there's a table of contents. This formatting is the same formatting you use in any Supreme Court in the United States. This is exactly how it's done in a Texas Supreme Court. This is exactly how it looks when it goes to the U.S. Supreme Court, okay? There is always a table of contents. Always, all right? And there is always a table of authorities. If you don't have a table of authorities, then you can't win because you don't have any authorities to back your shit up. All right, so it always is going to look like that. All right, I don't want to read this to you word for word because, like I said, I read to you guys last week, and I get tired of reading out loud. Okay. But we'll go through and highlight the important things. Right here, it says, this petition relates to the conduct of Chief Glanville and not to any rulings. Now, the reason they put that in there specifically is because, as you recall, when Weinstein was making his motion to recuse Glanville, Glanville said, well, we can't do that just because you don't like my ruling, because if you were able to recuse a judge when you don't like rulings, then every judge would be recused on every ruling. So in the very, like, we're talking like, what is this? 1, third sentence, the third complete sentence, they address this. It's not the orders he's giving that we're complaining about. It is his fucking behavior. It is his behavior that we're complaining about. Okay. The court has jurisdiction, and there have been motions for recusals filed and denied 3 times by 3 different movements. Okay. So obviously on this one, they are specifically going off of Weinstein's, but it's very important to note that 3 people have made this motion. It has been denied for 3 people, and a request for a certificate of immediate review also has been denied 3 times. And Judge Glanville loves saying, "Oh well, we'll let the appeals court. We'll let the appeals court take that up. We'll let the appeals court take that up." And yet here says, "We'll let the appeals court take it up, but not until all this shit is over. But not right now. So I'm not going to do my job, but I'm also not going to let you do anything about me not doing my job," is essentially what has happened. Now again, if I'm a judge, which I would never be because then I would have to be a government employee, and that's, as y'all know, is never going to happen. If I were a judge, I'm gladly giving you a certificate of immediate review. Abso-fucking-lutely. Go on, go tell mommy and see what she has to say. You know, if you're in the right, you should have no problem. You cops love saying this kind of shit. Well, if you're innocent, then you should have no problem but to sit here and talk to us. So if we're going to use that same mentality that cops use on Glanville should have no problem releasing the transcript, and he should have no problem having another judge review it. He should have no problem sending it off to the appeals court. But he does. He has problems because he knows he fucked up. He knows he fucked up. Okay. These allegations have 4 affidavits which allege judicial misconduct and unfair proceedings. If the affidavits are true, they constitute serious violations of Code of Judicial Ethic. All right. Citing lack of evidentiary foundation caused by Glanville's own... Oh, Jesus, y'all. What is this word? Recalcitrance. Okay, guys. Unwilling to obey rules. Wow, how do I not know that word? I feel like that describes me really well. Is refusing to provide a transcript of secret ex parte proceeding. He's hindered defense counsel to effectively pursue relief. And assuming this court would not get the opportunity to review the decision of multiple motions to recuse unless the underlying case was concluded, Glanville continues to hide behind a purported standard that his actions will be reviewed in hindsight for abuse of discretion. Well, we know that. We know that Glanville keeps saying, well, the appeals court will decide if I abused my discretion. Like, that's one of his favorite lines. That and Time for a Comfort Break. Like, those are his 2 favorite lines. The appeals court will... Okay. Now, one thing I definitely thought of, hey, Hella Live, how are you? Hi, Amelia. Kobe, I don't know who you are, and no, I'm not going to Myrtle Beach, okay? Thank you for the invite, though. Okay, so the one thing I was thinking about, is, as you recall, earlier this week, we read Steele's motion and Bumpus's motion to recuse. And as you recall, Bumpus's motion was very legal, point. And as you recall, Steele's was very dramatic, all right? Very dramatic. I was thinking, as dramatic as I am, maybe I should be a criminal defense attorney. Because I don't see those kind of dramatics in the civil courtrooms. Like, yes, we will be a bit dramatic here and there, but I really don't see that level of dramatics. And I was wondering, what effect does the dramatics have on the judge and his rulings? Because if you have to go in day after day and hear all this theatric bullshit out of the defense, that's kind of going to get annoying, right? Like, it's annoying. Like, stick with the law, guys. And even the theatrics, as I talk about judges ruling on emotion and how horrible and annoying that is, when the lawyer is presenting theatrically, there's almost no way to be black and white letter of the law. So I was thinking and curious, just kind of like contemplating the ideas of like, maybe part of the reason that Glanville is so out of control is because the lawyers before him are so much more incredibly dramatic than he's used to. But I don't know, that doesn't make sense, because criminal defense lawyers are going to always be dramatic, right? Like, I don't know. Okay, so that's where I go. I get lost in thought very often, and that's where I go deep down these rabbit holes of like, I wonder if theatrics have anything to do with it. All right, sorry guys, I'm sorry. I go down rabbit holes all the time. Deep thoughts. All right, so back to the document. All right, what I found particularly salacious about this document was the footnotes. So I am going to read this footnote to you. A petition for writ of mandamus to order return of seized property in case number relating to property seized during the arrest of Mr. Williams was filed by claimant Raffaello and Company on July 24th, 2023. It outlines lack of action by Chief Judge Glanville over the course of time dating back to June 17th, 2022. The petition for writ has yet to be heard by Glanville, and claimant has not agreed to any delay in the hearing of its petition. In the meantime, claimant is without over $1 million in their property loaned to Mr. Williams for his performances. Oh. Okay, so hold on. Let's unwind that real quick. Raffaello and Company. Let's just look them up real quick. Oh. Okay, so they're like a jeweler or something. Okay. They had given Thug $1 million of their property to use during his performances. Doesn't that kind of help prove the defense that everything Thug does, and says is marketing? It's not even Thug's jewelry. It's this Raffaello and Company's jewelry. And so Raffaello and Company, so all that shit got confiscated when they arrested Thug. So Raffaello and Company came in and they're saying, hey, that's actually ours. We want our shit back. It doesn't belong to him. He was just holding it and we want our shit back. And the judge hasn't even looked at it. 2 years. Millions of dollars of jewelry is just sitting with the government. Probably the government took it. Who knows? An additional petition for writ of mandamus seeking similar relief on these facts was filed October 24th, 2023, my daughter's birthday, and has also yet to be heard by Chief Glanville, despite efforts by claimant's counsel to have a hearing on the matter. So, Raffaelli and Company and someone else whose Thug was holding on to their stuff have been trying to get before the judge to have a writ issued so they can go to the Supreme Court so they can get their shit back, and the judge is refusing to hear it. Color me not surprised in the least bit. I mean, that sounds par for the course with this judge, doesn't it? Okay, so, this I thought was very funny. Glanville's obstruction has rise to a level the defense counsel believes attempt to obtain relief in the Superior Court will be ineffective. 3 motions for recusal have been filed and denied. 2 writs of mandamus are already attached to the case, which were filed and pending for more than a year. Therefore, any effort to file a writ of mandamus in Fulton County that would be heard by Chief Judge Glanville would result in frustration and lack of action. Glanville's court is where writs go to die. Glanville's court is where writs go to die. It is a function of Glanville's job to review these writs. And yet his court is a fucking cemetery for writs. It's crazy. It's the nursing home for writs. They go in, they don't come out until they're dead. Unbelievable. As the present petition for writ would go to Glanville if filed in Fulton County Superior Court, petitioner has no option other than for the Georgia Supreme Court to exercise its discretion and consider defendant's claim. All right, so far they've been establishing, here's why we need the Supreme Court to review this. Here's why we need it now. Here's the secret ex parte. They asked the judge to recuse himself. Despite preceding all requirements for the Superior Court rule, the motion recusal was denied without following the federal rule. Glanville denied a request for certificate of immediate review. A formal order denying the motion was entered on June 14th, 2 days after it was filed. As Chief Judge for the Superior Court, Glanville holds a unique position within the county which carries a significant amount of weight and power among his fellow county judges. So this is a very good point. Glanville is the Chief Justice in his courts. So that means like he's the top dog, and presumably other judges will follow his behavior. Other judges will follow his behavior because he's the leader of the judges. Glanville has repeatedly refused to issue the certificate, invoking the original jurisdiction of this court to issue writs is petitioner's only recourse. If not considered by this court, still incarcerated defendant would be forced to wait for at least another year or more before the seeking appellate review. The appellate procedure in this case at bar will be extremely lengthy and cumbersome with more than a year of transcripts for review. It's going to take a year to put the damn transcripts together. Okay, emergency relief is needed. All right, so that's the whole section of like, hey, this is why we need you to look at this now. All right, that's the whole section of this is why we need to look at this now. 10 pages. Okay. 10 pages of this is why you need to look at this now. Now, I will say, this first paragraph is just one sentence. And I feel like my 7th grade English teacher would just be so freaking pissed if she saw this. You need 5 sentences for a paragraph. That's all right. Okay, so they further asked that the court, this court, that proceedings are stayed pending resolution. So what that means is they're asking for a halt to this trial. No more motion hearing, no more jury presentation, just hold the trial and don't do anything until this shit is followed, until these motion for recusals are reviewed by the court. I think that's appropriate, if I'm honest. But again, there is a very dramatic nature to these defense attorneys that, though we might agree with it because of our feelings and impassionment, it might not actually align with the law. Like, the law does not actually have place for feelings. Those don't go together. All right. Okay, so here's the issues presented to the Supreme Court. Whether Glanville was correct in failing to follow the mandates of UCR by refusing to refer the motion of recusal to an unbiased judge. And here's another thing. If he was not worried, if he knew he was on the up and up, why wouldn't you just send it to another judge? You're the Superior Court judge. You already are the boss of all the judges. So why not just have one of your inferiors look it over? Also, like, if you're the top boss judge, you would have to do something flagrantly wrong for your inferior judge reviewing it to say you did something wrong. You'd have to do something like holy shit level wrong. So the fact that you wouldn't let another judge, your peer who's technically under you because you're the head boss, that says a lot to me. That says a lot. All right. Okay. Refute to unbiased judge for hearing the following argument on June 12th, particularly after making findings in an order of June 14th. The motion was timely, the attached affidavit was legally sufficient, and the affidavit contains assertions of fact to support the allegations of bias, and impartiality. All right. Here they're going to talk about the secret meeting, and they cite the Weinstein affidavit, which I think I went through with y'all like piece by piece. Okay, again, nobody knew that this meeting was taking place. One or more members of defense counsel was told, and then Steele asked the court about it, and then the court said, fuck you, you're going to jail. Okay, here they cite Bunkis's file to motion to quash and to recuse. And if you remember, we went over that earlier this week. We went through it line by line. It's really well written. It's a really, really good motion. As a participant in the ex parte proceeding, Bumpus's first-hand account of the misconduct is credible. That's important because she was sitting there in that room. So her assertions are credible. She's an officer of the court, so we can take for granted that she will be truthful and that she, in fact, will be credible about what happened in that room. Incredible. Wild. Bumpus asserts the following facts. You guys are familiar. In chambers, this happened. Okay, in Vince in court, we saw all of this. We saw the hearing to recuse, and we saw all of this. Okay. Applying the wrong standard and reaching the wrong conclusion, Glanville found that the court finds that a cursory review of Weinstein affidavits submitted by plaintiffs in support of their motion contains assertions of fact to support the allegations of bias and impartiality. And if you remember, the standard is if there's any kind of reasonable idea of bias, then you need to recuse yourself. And the judge says, however, while these assertions were made to support defendants' allegations against Glanville, there's a notable lack of evidence to support the assertions. Right, except for the first-hand testimony of the woman who was sitting there. Except for the first-hand testimony. You know how many people are in jail behind some first-hand testimony? You know how many people are wrongly in jail behind some first-hand testimony? Oh, but for them it was okay enough to prison them. But for you, you're right, Judge. Yeah, it's not even factual. Fuck out of here. Hey, Vintage CB, welcome. Okay, here comes our arguments and authorities. Here's our standard for granting writs of mandamus. Parties can seek mandamus to compel performance of official duties. I've only ever had mandamus one judge, one time. To compel removal of a judge, a petitioner for mandamus must show sufficient motion to recuse has been filed and the motion has not been denied after assignment to separate judge. Well, they never got the assignment to the separate judge, so that's an easy one. They met that. Easy. Glanville has failed to follow the rules on recusal and violated multiple rules of Georgia Code of Conduct. When a trial judge is presented with a recusal and accompanying affidavit, they must temporarily cease to act on the merits and determine immediately if the motion is timely, legally sufficient, and if it sets forth facts that, if proved, would warrant recusal. Remember, go back to what he found. He said there are certain of facts to support the allegations. So all he needed is that there are facts to support the allegation. And when he hit that, then it's time to recuse yourself immediately. You put in a new judge, and that new judge then goes forward with the show cause, etc. And that's the thing. Bumpus is only trying to get him recused for the show cause. She's only trying to get him recused for all this crap that's come because she told people about a meeting that was not fucking private at all. And I don't even think she told him. Who knows who told him? But she's telling people now. She's going on YouTube. She's doing interviews. She's like, yeah, it's 14 people, and I met Kenneth Copeland before. And he ain't stupid. Okay. So she's talking now. Bump is like, you know what? Fuck you, Glanville. I'm going to talk. Okay, Glanville failed to follow the federal law. The court must consider whether recusal would be warranted, assuming any of the facts alleged are true. So the court has to say that if any of these facts are true, should I recuse myself? Now, in this case, we know lots of those facts are true, and if they all are true, any of them are true, he would need to recuse himself. So there's no situation where I see that Glanville can rule on the show cause. And someone was saying the 25th show cause has been delayed, and I'm guessing this is why. Because he doesn't have the authority to make that ruling. He's a fucking witness to that show cause. Okay? If I'm having to defend someone in a show cause and this is the fact pattern that I'm having to defend them off of, you better fucking believe I'm calling the judge as witness. Instead, Glanville properly found Weinstein affidavit contains assertions of facts that support the allegation of bias, and that's it. He should have stopped right there. By law, it should have stopped. But then he failed to refer the recusal motion. His factual review of Weinstein's affidavit is particularly astounding given that Glanville has repeatedly refused to give defense counsel access to the transcript. If you remember yesterday, he's starting to change his tune, talking about, oh, well, I'll give you he started saying this on Tuesday, like, I'll give you an amended version of the transcript. You know who's not going to get amended version of the transcript? The Supreme Court. They're going to get the whole transcript and nothing but the transcript, so help me God. They're not getting a redacted version. They're going to get the whole thing. It's apparent that Glanville has made every effort to keep the proceeding a secret and inaccessible to defense counsel. That's against the law. That's the part that's against the law. Y'all could have had the meeting as long as you fucking told the defense about it. You have to tell them and invite them. And then you could have carried on with your bullshit meeting. While Glanville appears to be evolving over time, he recently indicated that he may provide a redacted transcript of the proceeding prior to cross-examination. However, he's indicated that it would be redacted to remove privileged information. What could be privileged in a proceeding amongst the judge, the prosecution, the sworn witness, and the attorneys, and 12 other fucking people is a mystery. It's true. And the fact is, this judge violated a federal law. So I think they're doing this through the Georgia Supreme Court, but I think they could go to the federal Supreme Court and have this reviewed. I do not know what's going on with all, like, the mixed fonts here, but I don't love it. Like, this is weird. Like, why is this small? I don't know. But whatever. I'm kind of like a formatting person. Like, I might not spell everything right, and the grammar might not be perfect, but you better believe my formatting looks fucking good. Okay. See how I can cough away? Mm-hmm. All right. The footnotes, y'all. I don't usually really get up into footnotes, but these footnotes are so good. Well, here they're just outlining the rules. Glanville failed to notify defense, and he made an effort to conceal. That's the part. Okay, that is the part that is bad. Judges shall disqualify themselves in any proceeding which their impartiality might be reasonably questioned. We were reasonably questioning his impartiality before all of this incident. So, and this is the thing, he doesn't have to recuse himself from the whole trial. He just has to recuse himself from the show cause, from the stuff that has to do with the ex parte. Now, I'm guessing he doesn't want to do that because in doing that, he would then be forced to recuse himself from the whole trial because the judge that goes over the recusal will be like, bro, you broke the fuck out of the law here. He should not have coerced the sworn testimony, and defendants were not provided motion. I'm sorry, they were not provided notice of the hearing. The only logical conclusion for the secret nature of the proceeding was to give Glanville, in conjunction with the state, the unfettered ability to harass and intimidate the sworn witness. If Glanville didn't want people thinking this way about him, he shouldn't have acted the way he did. Really, that's easy. Finally, someone defines critical stage for us. A critical stage is one in which a defendant's right may be lost, defenses waived, privilege claimed or waived, or one in which the outcome of the case substantially affected in some other way. Maybe like having a secret ex parte meeting where you bully the prosecution's witness into testifying? Okay, his failure to follow this law violated the Georgia Code. And in conclusion, his actions offended public confidence in independence, integrity, and impartiality of the judiciary. Well, if that is not the fucking truth, I don't know what is. I mean, any of y'all in my chat, any of y'all who have been watching this, all of us have been losing confidence in the impartiality of the judiciary, in the integrity. We have. And every day, Glanville has kind of worn away at that confidence. Every day, he kind of wears our confidence down. We didn't even have to get to this ex parte shit. At least, though, he did this dramatically horrible thing so it can get in front of the Supreme Court. Because like I've said a million times before, there's no way to stop this behavior except to have an appeal or an intervention of a higher court. And the only way to get that is to have some kind of really immediate issue like this one. All right. I don't know who Attorney Tate is, but Attorney Tate writes in paragraph 15 of his affidavit, here we have a judge who's failed to abide by a provision of the Code of Judicial Conduct designed to ensure, it's supposed to be E-N, not I-N. The only people that can I-N-sure things, I-N-S-U-R-E, are insurance companies. The rest of us, we just N-sure, E-N. So when I saw this, I was like, ugh. It drives me nuts when insure and insure are used improperly. None of y'all will ever make that mistake again, though, because you'll be like, am I an insurance company? No, so I can't insure it. I can only ensure it. All right? Assure, and then it says insure, assure. I think they just meant assure. I don't know. A fair hearing, and who also has actively attempted to conceal the proceeding. In my opinion, to a reasonable degree of legal certainty, this conduct legitimately calls into question the judge's impartiality, and assuming it to be true would require recusal. Again, I reach this conclusion based on Judge Glanville's action, not any ruling he has made during the course of the trial. Remember, rewind to when I started this whole document with you a few minutes ago. The whole point that Glanville was making in front of Weinstein is that you can't just toss me because I made a ruling you don't like. And so again, we see this has nothing to do with the ruling. This has to do with the overall behavior. All right, so they want the court to direct Glanville to follow the law and assign the motion of recusal to an unbiased judge, and also asking for a writ to order Glanville to produce the transcript and the trial be stayed until the resolution of the recusal. So that's it. And then we get into the exhibits, which are the motions, etc. Okay. Whew. That was intense. I mean, I'm talking like when I was reading that, I was like, "Ooh, this is salacious." this is like, ooh, juicy lawyer tea. Ooh. All right, guys. So I'm gonna get into your chat now. While I was going through that, I was ignoring you. Again, I just want to thank Diamante because these earrings are fucking fabulous, dude. They're awesome. I love them. Thank you so much. All right. This judge, I've never seen it in my life, but this judge loves to eat cough, sneeze, all those things into the mic. Now, maybe because most of the judges in Dallas are women, we don't see that. Maybe like they have like a little more Southern lady type thing going for them. I don't know. I have never seen a judge do that. Now, I have seen judges eat cough drops. And I get that. Like, if you're kind of not feeling great, you still need to come to work, right? Like, you still have trial and shit needs to be adjudicated here, right? So, fine, suck on the cough drop. I'll give you that, okay? Let's see. Harvey says, I got my cough from the judge. The cough I have is just from talking too much. It's like God's way of saying, shut up, Lauren. But y'all just keep talking to me, so I keep going. So really, it's your fault. I tease. Hello, Live. I'm so glad you're here. Jasmine, welcome. Let's see. Amelia, you couldn't get a signal on your TV. I just love that you call it a bloody TV. That's hilarious. Let's see. Where emotions go to die. Oh, yes. So Glanville is where writs go to die. I have a judge I deal with in Dallas that's where shit goes to die. There's a couple judges out here. It's pretty annoying. Yvette says, as a former police officer, I believe us and attorneys have to be able to articulate things in such a manner that someone has no knowledge can understand the atrocity or actions. I agree. I agree with you. The public has a huge persuasive value on the jury. I believe that. I know they're not supposed to do it, but how can they not? Okay, so I was thinking about that today, Hell of a Live. Hellava Live. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, the jury got Tuesday, they went home, right? And then they didn't have to go on Wednesday. They were told, hey, no coming in Thursday, Friday. Now they're going to be told, don't come in next week and don't come in the week after. Y'all don't think, like, I'm thinking they're gonna Google this shit. Like, why am I not going to court? What the fuck is going on? I mean, come on. Like, it's human nature to be curious about those things. And when you have like 2.5, 3 weeks off like that, like, it is gonna be, the jury is gonna start Googling things. Also, I mean, maybe it's just because of my feed, because I'm always watching legal stuff, but I don't think so. Like, my channel showed up in my dude's feed. My half-sister, who I haven't talked to in a decade, showed up in my comments yesterday. So there's no way that, like, pieces of Woody and Woody's testimony or pieces of what's going on is not showing up in these people's lives. Like, the way social media and modern life works, there's no way that these people are going to open their phone over the next 2 weeks and never see anything about, like, why I'm not in trial this week. Come on. Come on. Every regular normal person in the world would look that shit up, you know, even though you're not supposed to. I don't know. And then you spend 2 weeks out, and then what if you have a job and so you go, like, actually to work, and then your coworker's like, holy shit, what's going on? We've been watching on Law and Crime. Tell us all about it. Come on. I really felt for a long time like, there's no way the jury would do that. Juries are great, and they are great. And they do. They take this job very seriously. Like, we as citizens, when we're called in for jury duty, that is, like, when we are the best as humans. But any one of us would have to be like, what is going on? I don't know. Dizzy said, did you see Love look through Shard's notes yesterday? 2 hours and 10 minutes into the stream. I didn't see that, but we're definitely going to look here in a minute, okay? Yeah, Marilee, this judge does not do his job all the way around. It's wild. It's wild. The whole process shows that it's flawed. I gotta say, like, all systems that are built by humans are flawed because humans are flawed. We can't do anything. Like, we're unable to be perfect because we're not gods. So to expect anything we create to be perfect is absolutely ridiculous. Paradox True says that the judge in the DA's office had a lawsuit filed against them in 2018 for a similar issue. That's interesting. The Dweller Welcome says, Woody says they want to pick and choose. I agree. Raynette, I'm always glad to see you here. You're such a great supportive viewer. Thank you so much. Woody did say when they told him the truth, he refused to believe it, so he told him what he wanted to hear. I agree. Monica says the whole case is a shit show. I wouldn't get any sleep if my loved one was going through this. No kidding, Monica. I'm right there with you. Tall Glass, I agree. They are dirty from the top to bottom. Vintage CB, I agree. They need to be investigated. Vanessa, welcome. Has anyone ever considered the bump is... Yes, Vanessa, if you go and watch last week, I suggest several times that when lawyers are in fact, I used the medicine as a fake phone. I said when we're in subbing for other people, we're texting, here's what's going on. So absolutely. Ian Bumpkus has to update that lawyer. She has to tell Milnick. So the judge couldn't even make it private to the extent that she could tell Milnick. And the judge never told anyone this is a private conversation. He knew it was private because he knew he was breaking the rules, but he didn't tell everybody else, hey, I'm breaking the rules, so you need to go along with it. Hello? If y'all are going to break the rules as a group, fucking come together and get solid on your lie like they did in the Karen Reed trial. Don't be out here lying willy-nilly. Come on, guys. Come on. Robert, I agree that literally every conviction from this judge now needs to be investigated. I can't trust anything this judge has done. Anything. Jesse, welcome. Raynette, the man was eaten by bed bugs and held for a misdemeanor. Wow. That is fucked up. Ugh. God, I can't stand it when the government is out there just violating, shitting on our constitutional rights like that. It's ridiculous. There were 14 people in the illegal meeting, so how can the judge... I agree, Vanessa. The judge just chose Bumpus. And I think the judge choosing Bumpus as the person who leaked it, like, we don't know that, shows the bias the judge has towards the defense. That just goes along with his bias. If he wasn't biased against him, he would have, like, investigated to who the fuck did it, right? Instead of just throwing out accusations against a Bumpus. Thank you, F. Cherry, for the Cashapp contribution. I want to thank you so very much. And I'm going to take this moment to thank everyone that has done a super chat, everyone who has joined the membership, anyone who has sent Cash App. Thank you so incredibly much. Thank you for hitting like. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing my channel with people. I appreciate you so much. You will never know how much I appreciate you. Thank you. Woody and Bumpus had a deal that after he purged himself, she would be done because she had to go to work. Duh. She said it out of her mouth that she had a relationship with Woody. There you go. Hi, Micah. Welcome. And you know Google is asking every jury, tell us... Rita, you're right. Every day. Did we get you there? Were our directions to the Fulton County Courthouse? Sweet Lady Sugar, we can only speculate as to why he doesn't want the ex-party meeting shown. I'm going to assume because he broke the fucking law and he knows it. I'm going to assume that he did a bunch of shit he shouldn't have done and he knows that they're going to come out and it's going to be exposed. That's my guess, but we don't know, and we won't know unless he tells us, okay? Bumpus has been speaking on other attorney platforms. She said everyone has everything twisted, and yeah, the June 5th, 25th is not going to happen. We know that. Everything is twisted, but that's because of the judge. And I saw, I think, K-Way, you sent it to me, a video where she talked about there being 14 people. Lion Love said she wanted that meeting. She did mention wanting to have a meeting. Unfortunately, the judge didn't advise anyone about it. That's kind of the problem, right? Like, you can have a meeting, but you gotta fucking tell everybody first. Okay. I think, Sweet Lady Sugar, you asked what in-camera review is. Now, I did talk about that last week. But typically, when, let's say there's a piece of evidence that's hotly disputed, and you don't want the jury to see it before, you know, there's a determination, you can ask the judge to do an in-camera review, which is a review they do in their free time, I would say in their quarters or office, but they really could do it anywhere, who knows. And they just, like a camera, they look at it as if they're taking a camera shot of it, and then determine on the face of it if it's usable. I've never heard of an in-camera review that all the parties were not fully fucking aware of. And that's the problem with this ex parte meeting. He didn't tell the defense about the meeting. If he had simply told them and invited them and they opted not to go, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. If he had told them, we wouldn't be having this discussion. We wouldn't. Okay. So, we don't know how many of these special meetings have happened. We don't know how many trials the judge has done these type of special meetings. That's all huge issues, okay? Thank you, F. Cherry. Kathleen, thank you for joining. The mistrial will be stated when the Supreme Court reviews it. It's very clear that this judge is not going to call a mistrial because in the opening, Miss Lion Love turned towards the defense and burden shifted. They're not going to show you evidence. That's an automatic mistrial right there. Judge didn't call it, so we already know he isn't going to call a mistrial. Period. Brown Sweet, thank you for joining. Hit that replay. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, everyone. Jean, I did not know that Bumpus lives in Texas. I don't know why she would be practicing in Georgia if she did. Oh, the state of Georgia is so bad she moved to Texas. I don't think so. She does personal injury. So I don't think, like, we don't have these issues in civil court. We have different types of issues. We have issues, but not these issues in civil court. Let's see. What Bumpus said was they agreed for him to fire her to help her because the judge was doing her wrong, but she wasn't getting paid. So you fire me because I'm not being paid and I don't want to sit here any longer, right? Like, do that favor for me, bro. So I think that's really fair. Brandon says, how many other trials has he overseen that did the same? I don't know, Brandon. And when I think about it, it really upsets me. It really upsets me to think about, like, this is not new behavior, right? Like, this is not something he just, like, woke up and decided to be an asshole one day. Like, he's been doing this. He's been doing this. Last Build Bender, thank you for joining. No, I have no idea how long it will take to review. I have no idea what the Supreme Court of Georgia's schedule looks like. I have no clue. None whatsoever. Okay, so, y'all, we are going to... Well, shit, I think we looked at Monday together when we were on together on Tuesday. So we are going to get into Thursday's motion hearings. And the first and most important thing I need to say regarding Thursday's hearings
Actions as well.
is this is not courtroom green. This is not courtroom green. I don't understand. Bumpus came in with the sea green and the like, not wearing colors that match green. Then we got Miss Love wearing this bright ass Kelly green jacket all the time. Then we have Miss Hilton wearing a Kelly green pantsuit. Now she's wearing this Kelly green dress. This is not courtroom green. This is a green you wear when you are working in the office only that day. Okay? This is a green you wear when maybe you have some client consults, but you're not going in front of a judge. I do not understand these women wearing this color to court. Like every fucking day. It's okay once in a while. In the spring. But every day, it's so bizarre to me. I don't understand. And this green, you're right, it is not her color. Unpopular opinion, it is not her color. It's not Miss Love's color. This color green is for redheads, y'all. This color green looks good on redheads with freckles, and that is about it. And it is not courtroom green. Beeman Streamin says, do you think this will make it to the jury? I don't even think we're going to make it till August. August 13th, I'll be in Atlanta. I was hoping to go to the trial in the afternoon and meet some of you there. I'm going to definitely have a meet and greet in the evening. Pretty sure Sadie Nash is going to come to the meet and greet. I'm pretty sure Infamous Sylvia will be at the meet and greet. I'm hoping they're supposed to, we've kind of talked about it a little. I'm hoping to coordinate everybody. I wanted to go to court. I don't think we're going to have court. I don't think it's going to make it till August 13th. Okay? So I definitely don't think it's going to go before the jury. Do you think they're wearing this green because it's slime green? Do you think they're wearing it because it's the YSL green? I don't understand. I don't understand why anyone would choose to wear this color green to court. Period.
That the state would need to address.
Okay.
So I can start with the state's version. I don't believe that the court has a copy of.
Smut peddlers ask, what's to stop them from changing the transcript? I'm going to say their law license. But my whole answer to you on that is their law license. If they want to keep their licenses, they're going to give an honest transcript to the damn Supreme Court. They might not give an honest transcript to all the lawyers, but they're going to give it to the Supreme Court. All right? The Supreme Court has control over all law licenses.
It starts again. I'm going to start at 7:23:30, but it starts at around 7:23:33.
Well, I can hear stories like.
Danny, I think it's a nice dress. I just don't think it's a courtroom dress. You know, that's my problem with it. This is shoes. What shoes does she have on?
Yeah, issues with
Had, and I don't know if they
Oh, I like those shoes. They're gold. I like them. They match your
have an
watch.
electronic form.
I like that clunky heel. I can't really wear much of a heel unless it's clunky.
Is the portion where specifically
Oh, y'all, Miss Love and her fucking faces yesterday. Okay, first of all, I absolutely hate it because I totally have a jacket that looks like this. And when I saw her in this jacket yesterday, I thought, I'm going to go home and get rid of that jacket. This is the thing. I had this other white and black jacket. It was 3/4 sleeve, and I really loved it. It was like this woven material. It was really soft, and it looked cute. I wore it all the time. Then it like got stained enough that I needed a new one. So I got the one that looks like Miss Love's, but it's kind of like this almost like plastic material. It's not soft and woven. And so I've only worn it like twice. Then I saw Miss Love in this shit, and I said, oh, I'm just going to burn it. Like, I don't want to look like Lion Love, dude. All right. But I do like a white jacket with black piping.
he's talking about Nut running off with some jewelry or some drugs. First of all, Copeland never says anything about drugs. We don't even know what this supposed rumor is, right? And so the state's contention is...
Y'all, I could put this shit on mute and play it, and we just watch Miss Love's face all day. I swear to God, just like watch her fucking face.
Mr. Copeland says, I heard it was about some jewelry or some drugs. He doesn't even know. And that is bad character evidence as to the victim. So the state's concern with that portion is that it's bad character evidence that's trying to come in using purported specific acts of conduct, which is improper.
The state has already given bad character evidence about Nut. They already said that Nut was like the leader of a gang.
The only way that character evidence will come in is by reputation or opinion. This is...
Or specific acts.
No. It can't come in through specific acts, and I actually have a case to cite that.
But that's if I only consider it as character. I mean, so the defense is saying that it's impeachment. It could be used for impeachment of Mr. Copeland.
But impeachment is... He did not say in this interview that it was Shannon... it was Shannon, Demekian, etc. That portion would be relevant for what happens above, where he says it was Doc and Head. But here, he's saying there's a rumor out there that some other people may have done it, but, you know, we heard that Nut may have stole some jewelry. That's not specifically talking about any specific person. That's him giving a theory based on a rumor that he heard. So that's why we don't have an issue of the Doc and Head portion coming in, because that could be considered impeachment given what he says later on. We are solely concerned about the portion in which he says, I'm hearing stories like Nut's supposed to have ran off with something. He's not talking about anyone specific. He's talking about these rumors. And again, that is bad character evidence.
If if the defense on cross-examination lays the foundation for, as Mr. Shard said, he has knowledge that this particular, Mr. Copeland knew of this earlier, and then on the interview in question, he's saying something that would be different. So if he had knowledge of it and he gave it, that would be impeachment.
If he had knowledge of what?
If he had knowledge beforehand, what they're doing is, I just, from the court's recollection of or just assessment of this, they're working kind of backwards. They know what he said later about what he knew earlier. So that's where the impeachment's coming in. They have a good faith basis to ask him about that. Mr. Sharp? I'm sorry to interrupt you and Mr. Steele, but is that kind of what you're trying to get at?
Absolutely.
All right.
If he had knowledge of it on January 10th, that was
Look at this. Just look at this lab.
That suggests to us that he's making it up on June 10th.
But what is the it? Because the fact of...
He's making up, what exactly is he making?
Okay, hold on. So whatever Thug was wearing yesterday, I'm glad the jury wasn't there because it literally, whatever he's wearing, he looks like a prisoner. Just like prison clothes. I don't know why Shard and Steele were chilling over here. Hopefully, I get to sit over here when I go. Hopefully, we'll see.
Making up this relative to this particular section.
Making up
This particular section of 732.33 to 724.
on June 10th, he is asserting that he has knowledge of this, and he's had knowledge since January 10th. And he's asserting that his knowledge is that the four gentlemen in the car, who the four gentlemen in the car was. And if he had knowledge on January 10th,
Why didn't he say it on the
why
18th?
didn't he say it on the 18th?
Okay.
But
Okay.
sure, I think, let me
Or the
be
28th?
The 28th, I should
and
say.
let me be clear, the section that we're talking about, the conversation about Doc and Head is in the same section. So in the same section between 723.33 and 724, he
Just
talks
watch
about
this love.
Doc and Head, which we agree should come in.
Good morning, what, why, and
In
who?
that same section, he also now talks about this rumor of Donovan Thomas stealing some items. That does not directly talk about who killed him. So the Doc and Head part, we agree with. That's a part of this 723.33 to 724 section. So we agree up until, from 722.40 to 723.33 is where he talks about Doc and Head. We agree. That can come in.
right.
That shows right there. He said Doc and Head on January 28th. Later on in June, he said Shannon, Deamonte, and these other individuals. We are specifically talking about a 7-second area between 723.33 and 724 where he's solely talking about hearing rumors that Nut supposedly ran off with jewelry. That does not directly talk about who killed him. That is him speculating about what theories could have came in as to why he was killed, but it does not directly talk about who killed him. So we think the portion before Doc and Head, fair game. We are only talking about where he's
But if he,
speculating as to whether or not.
but here's the thing, if he
So they don't want any motive, possible motive for Nut's killing to come in, but they want y'all to know that Nut was killed. But you can't know that he fucking stole shit from people and shot other people up, so maybe they would want to kill him. No. No, we don't want the whole story. We only want pieces.
he knew, if he had knowledge of that, or what truly happened, and he's just given another version, I heard that Sutton says did this during this period of time, that would be impeachment.
But he doesn't even know what happened.
But it says, but it's another version he's told that the jury can decide whether or not he's telling the truth about. Now, ordinarily, Miss Hilton, it would not be admissible. But given what's been proffered so far, I'm going to probably allow it.
Oh, wow, the judge is actually going to allow
Assuming the
something.
foundations
Damn.
laid as to that. But what I've heard so far would indicate that yes, it's another version of what Mr. Copeland may or may not have said. So I'll allow it.
Do y'all think that Miss Love's hair is falling out? And maybe that's why she got this short ass cut? Because look, it looks like, I don't know. Maybe she got like alopecia or something. It started falling out.
Objection. So can we get rid of? We're going to get rid of the things the sister said about Blade J. We're going to get, and we're also going to get rid of the 724.00 to 724.54. The unrelated 25,000. Okay. All right. Was that it, Mr. Sharp?
For that one.
For that one.
Yes.
I have a disagreement.
Okay, Mr. Steele. What section are you?
And look, Mr. Kokomo, there's no jury, but he ain't in no jeans. He's in a suit, like he should be.
You want to invite my attention to?
And if we could have, because we weren't provided this previously, so that we could be prepared for whatever. So if you could just tell us what the section is.
I think he's going to do that right now. Okay.
And Hilton looks like she's tall too. I mean, everyone looks tall next to Steele, but she looks tall. This dress is not a bad dress. It's a pretty dress. It's just a weird color for court. That's all. That's all. All right, now Steele's about to talk, so you know whose facial expressions are gonna go fucking crazy now. Just watch. Soon I will learn how to use the machine well enough that I can just zoom into Love while we're going through this, and then we can hear Steele but watch her closer. Okay, so just watch Lion Love and her expressions.
So I don't agree that these statements get played at all again.
Just already. He said, I don't agree. Just look at her stank face. I literally believe that she is losing her hair from stress. When she came in with the shorter cut, I'm like, oh, uh-oh. Ruh-roh, Raggy. I mean, her behavior is out of control. She is so aggressive. She's so angry. She reminds me of my mother. I hope the algorithm catches this and puts this in front of my mom. Her behavior reminds me of my mother. She's always right. Oh, God, she's always right. You know, ugh. So, we'll watch it.
So I know what you're doing is over objection because I don't believe it's a prior and consistent statement.
Okay, so you're disagreeing with Mr. Sharp about that. You're saying you don't want to play it at all.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Because
it's just so unclear about that. Okay.
And I've raised this before because the testimony was I probably did. Most of the testimony is I don't
Look at her. Just watch Love, guys. Don't look at anything else besides Lion Love and her expressions.
But I probably did say that because I was lying to the police. So this is not a prior inconsistent statement. He's saying I probably did say this. Mm-hmm. So I don't think any of this exercise is appropriate. You've ruled that
look at her.
Portions may come in and that's what
handy
we're doing.
notes to Nikki.
Without waiving anything.
Okay, sir.
And just for the record, because this is just bringing it up, I just want to be clear that that's my stance as well about just playing these videos. But when I'm discussing redactions, I'm going on the assumption that you are overruling my objection.
So generally, you object on the basis of it's not impeachment. But since I'm going to rule that it may be impeachment, you'd like these sections played.
Played or not.
Okay.
Okay.
So the other factors I want the court to consider is over objection. You have permitted constantly.
Look at Love. Look at Love. Fucking more notes. One time, one bitch handed me a note during a trial. One time. I smacked her off. Hand me a motherfucking note. This is not mock trial. This is not law school. I know how to do my job. I don't need your notes, Lion Love. Y'all don't forget, Miss Love was a judge. She was a judge in Fulton County. That bitch had control over not just lives of minors. She was a juvenile judge. So I believe part of her ridiculous behavior in this courtroom is she thinks she's still a judge. She thinks she knows everything. She thinks like she's omnipotent or something. It's unbelievable.
To ask Detective Gaither, Detective Dennis, and if I'm leaving anyone out, I'm not trying to. So anybody on law enforcement, I think maybe Detective Racy as well. Based upon, don't tell me what was said, but based upon your investigation,
what did you learn? What did you do from what you learned? And did you corroborate that? And I don't know, I have no idea where this information came from. And I've asked the court, and I said it's a confrontation clause issue. You denied it. I have no reports on who they spoke to gather the information that they are now putting to the jury that YSL is a criminal street gang. With Detective Gaither over objection, YSL and the people here are all
Look at her face!
involved.
Look at her face right now! Look at her face! Look at her face! What is she trying to express? This poor dude, you know, Hilton put this dude between them. They used to sit next to each other. She said, nah, bitch, I'm tired of your notes. This poor guy, look at this face.
Criminal street gang, which is the ultimate issue.
More
With that
notes,
being said,
more head shaking.
This is a good example of how, and I want to play it for the jury, of how law enforcement gets their information. I want the jurors to be able to see that it's Detective, in this case, Gaither and Detective Dennis. It's the 28th day of January 2015, and they ask, what did you think? Who did you think killed Nut? And then all this conversation flowed.
How the can that, like, that can't even come in? Who do you think killed Nut? That is hearsay. Nobody cares. It's crazy. It's just crazy.
From that question that the state is trying to keep out, including that Mr. Thomas stole from someone else. And I'm not using it for bad character. Mr. Thomas' bad character is already in evidence. The state brought up that he is the head of a clan or leader.
The fucking cop. He can cover his mouth, but he can't turn his head. You guys, like, come on. Come on, dude. Y'all have to know that 30 to 70,000 people are watching this live. Like, hundreds of thousands of Americans are watching you. People across the world. We have people in England right now on my live. We have people in Australia on my live. I've had people in Africa on my live. So the whole world is watching you. And you can cover your mouth, but you can't turn it. You can't turn your mouth to cough. Like, get the fuck out of here. Is Glanville's mom alive? I'm guessing not, because if let's just say this is my son. My son's going to go to law school. Let's say for some dumb reason he decides to work for the government and he becomes a judge, and I decide that I'm not going to disown him, even though he's been told if he ever works for the government he'll be disowned. Okay, so this is a fact pattern of things that probably will never happen. So my son is a judge and he is presiding over a trial like this. If I see him coughing into the microphone, I am going to call him in the trial. Boy, I taught you better than that. I taught you manners. Jesus Christ.
Of a criminal street gang. So under 403, which is 24-4-4.
Now look at Love, look at Love. And she doesn't cringe when the judge coughs in the mic. She's okay with that. But she's never okay with the defense having, like, any word at all. Now, mind you, when the other party is talking and I disagree with them, I may be like, but I'm not making dramatic faces in the courtroom. Like, get out of here.
Really specious to say, oh, well, he stole from someone, so that's his character. In addition to that, I disagree respectfully with Mr. Sharp. And I want the false allegation that was made that Rich Homie Quan put a contract.
Look at it. Okay, I'm going to do what Gary Indiana taught me.
Made Mr. Sharp. And I want the false allegation that was made that Rich Homie Quan put a contract to kill someone for $25,000 up front and then $50,000 thereafter.
Now she's writing her note. Yeah, she's writing her note.
Person falsely accused by Mr. Copeland, and if you listen to the whole thing, I think it was cut off. Mr. Copeland said that he actually spoke with Rich Homie Quan to kind of be the intermediary and to diffuse that situation. So it was redacted by agreement by Mr. Sharp. This court accepted that, and I am objecting to it because I intend to cross-examine this witness. And
look at Love, look at Love, look at Love.
I'm going to play
vigorously
and
handwriting that note.
I'm not saying, and I'll make it clear to Mr. Copeland, I disagree
Does Miss Love not realize, like, Hilton has thoughts of her own? Like, Hilton went through law school and passed the bar, so she obviously, like, her mind creates its own thoughts, and this is her time, so let her do her thinking. Like, I'm too lazy of a person. If I'm on a team and I don't have to listen to the argument, like, I don't have to respond to the argument, I'm not fucking listening. Okay, like, I don't give a shit. I would not be listening if I was, I would not be listening, and I sure as hell would not be writing aggressive notes to my law partner. Get out of here.
That Rich Homie Quan, he's a gentleman. I disagree that he committed any type of offense, but this is the exact statement that Mr. Copeland levels against Mr. Williams, that Mr. Williams put a contract out on Mr. Copeland's life, which is untrue as well. So I'm disagreeing. And those times, if you need them, you already removed them.
I think it's it's subject to further arguments since you made your issue. So I'm gonna hear them. I'll hear it again, and I'll make a decision on it.
But those are my. So
okay.
I'm not trying to use it for character. I'm not using it for of the alleged victim. I'm not using it for the victim, the deceased. I'm not using it for any type.
Hold on.
Victim, the deceased. I'm
Gary, Indiana, tell me this.
Not trying to use it for character. I'm not using it for of the alleged victim. I'm not using it for the victim, the deceased. I'm not using it for any.
Do you see how she's like, make sure you show her that?
Type of, I didn't know.
And now white dude's like, oh my God, I do not want to be stuck in between these bitches.
I'm saying that's how the police did their investigation.
Look at them argue past white dude.
Through the prosecution.
You know who's really the victim here? Besides all the defendants who are being tried without a fair trial and, you know, complete misuse of the laws and complete ignoration, whatever. Besides the defendants, this guy right here, this guy here who has to sit in between Love and Hilton, who's aggressively trying to ignore Love because she's so sick of Love's shit, and Love, who's aggressively trying to push notes. I feel for this guy. The real victim here, white dude who's balding.
Has already poisoned the jury with this, word on the street. We did this. We corroborate. Here's how we do it.
See her face? Did you see that? Watch this.
Word on the street.
Look at how animated she. Look at. She reminds me like a cartoon character. Surely she cannot be having this many feelings. She needs some Botox to help hide all the feelings in her face or something, because this is just like crazy, the animation.
Here's how we do it. The person self-admits, or we get information, we corroborate. I think that all should never come into evidence. And this is a perfect example to show how baseless.
Jesse says skinny Uncle Fester. Uncle Fester was skinny. This is a balding Uncle Fester. His name is Atkins. Okay, thank you always. I don't know. He's the real victim here, though. Like, honestly, I bet Steele and YSL Silver Fox and all of them go home and they say to their wives, I feel really bad for that white dude who's balding. And I bet he's balding even more now because he had to sit in between these two. My goodness.
The prosecution cases against Mr. Williams and the other, and how.
Did you see her roll that? Did you see that eye roll? Jesus Christ. You guys, we could spend like all day. We could spend several days just going through the looks of Love. Watch this eye roll.
Prosecution cases against Mr. Williams and the other, and how the detectives have not done a proper investigation.
Look at her, look at her.
I wanted it. What do you think happened? Here it is, and I want the whole flow. That's
I want the whole.
Okay,
look
so
at her.
let me see if I can get the sum and substance of your argument. Are you saying that particular section of 724.00 to 724.54 that shows another version of the story that Mr. Mr. Copeland may have advanced.
And that this is how law enforcement gets their information. This happens to be recorded, but they were out there saying, and I don't know who they spoke with to say, and you let it in over objection. We did investigation. Then don't tell me what the investigation was. The prosecution will come back with, just tell me based upon your investigation under CIAK versus state, you relied on in one other case that I can't remember right now. But you relied on 2 cases, and I disagreed with the analysis, but that's the rule of your court. So we went forward, but I want to show the jurors now how the police did this investigation, and it's preposterous because all this is a lie. Everything Mr. Copeland said is
look at her, watch her aggressively.
Yet they're using him as a primary witness.
And I don't even, if I was Nikki Hilton at this point, I would be deaf in my right ear. Like, I ain't hearing shit, bitch. I would not acknowledge her. I would not turn my head. She would be dead to me. Like, you're dead to me. I'm trying to do my fucking job. It's so frustrating. Like, this is their job. These people are paid to do this job. Like, it's just a job. And this love is all up in, I mean, it's awful. It is awful. Okay, we'll keep going. Last week, Mr. Adams did ask that he asked that the judge ask Miss Love to quit with all the fucking facial. I mean, he said it much more eloquently, but he asked to have her quit making all the facial expressions and stuff, and the judge did absolutely nothing. Nothing. He said nothing. Like, gee, Miss Love, he's right. You are being ridiculous. And you do have to wonder what the jury is thinking. Now, if you recall, I've told you about this a lot. Juries have an inherent bias of positivity towards the government. So the jury is inherently biased that the government is correct. So when the jury sees the government actor making all the faces, you gotta wonder, what does the jury think? And how does the jury think that applies to facts and the issue at hand? Against
Mr. Williams and others.
Okay. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I believe that case does indicate that depending upon, since the investigation is an issue that, so I'll hear it again, okay? All right. Can I hear 7?
Yes, so I agree. I think Nikki Hilton here is not going to be working for Fulton County DA after this. I think she's probably going to have to move.
2400 to 724 54, please.
All right. So they play tapes. Let's go back to just watching Miss Love and her fucking note. I swear to Christ, guys.
Yes. Okay. Anything else?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Sharp, anything else? I'm sorry.
No, Your Honor.
In terms of this. Okay. All right. All right, sir. All right, madam.
So, first thing regarding Mr. Copeland being charged, were the arrest warrants taken out? Yes. However, when the case came to the district attorney's office and we investigated the case, we did not indict him given the evidence that was presented before us. So Mr. Copeland has never been indicted for the murder of Donovan Thomas. Second, Your Honor, looking at 244405A, what the defense is asking you to do meets no exception. And they have not brought to you any case law that says the state of mind of another individual that they are claiming killed someone with no evidence can come in. Like, they have not presented any case law, because this is what they're asking you to do. They're asking you to bring in evidence of the state of mind of someone who they think killed Donovan Thomas with no evidence that that person killed Donovan Thomas. If they have some case law to say that the law allows that, we would like to see it. But according to 244-405, what they're asking you to do meets none of the exceptions and how character evidence of a victim can come in.
Okay, Ms. Love's okay with what you're saying. Oh, yeah,
Anyone else have any argument on this particular section? Mr. Steele or anybody else? All right, sir. Go ahead.
And I saw someone in here say that in Australia this would be deemed improper. Her behavior would be deemed improper in any other courtroom in America. It's just allowed in Fulton County, I guess.
Mr. Muhammad versus State of Georgia, and I agree with Mr. Sharp. It's not on point here.
Look,
In this,
she's got the teeth out again. I don't understand it. This is what I don't understand. You're a DA. You make like $95,000 a year. You're overworked. Why do you fucking care so much? Like, why are you so personally embroiled in this situation that you have to be making all of those facial expressions? Again, this is just a job. Now, do we zealously advocate? Fuck yeah. Do we hate losing? Also fuck yeah, right? But at the same time, like, it is just a job. Now, y'all, I say that. Go ask my family how I act for the whole week leading up to a trial. Ask my family how I be acting. Ask them if it's just a job for me. Probably not. They'd be like, no, she goes fucking crazy. She gets anxious. She looks like an evil bunny rabbit. Exactly. Tyrese says Hilton and Bumpus are sorority sisters. I would guess that because I saw them chatting the day Bumpus was wearing that horrible outfit with the seafoam green cargo pants. And she was talking to Miss Hilton. So I am guessing that they were in fact friends. And I think that them being sorority sisters makes perfect sense. All right, here we go.
The prosecution keeps saying that there's no evidence that Mr. Copeland killed Mr. Thomas.
Look at her face.
On 4 occasions on the short.
Why is she saying what?
Short direct that we had already, the state asked Mr. Copeland whether he killed Mr. Thomas. The jurors don't have to accept his answer. The state has put that ball.
Look at her, look at her, look at her, look at her. I find that Love is particularly flagrant and dramatic in her positioning, etc., when Steele is the one presenting. She seems less dramatic when it's Shard or someone else.
In addition to that, to say that phone records clear Mr. Copeland,
More
phone
notes.
records are totally going to be in debate, and it's up to the jury. And to say that the state cleared Mr. Copeland and therefore he's not, he's truly not involved in any wrongdoing is preposterous. That's again up to the jury. Mr. Thomas's character is already put in issue. The state did that. They called him the leader of the gang.
Look at her. She's still aggressively writing these notes, but watch her face. Watch her face, watch her face.
Mr. Thomas's character is already put in issue. The state did that.
Look at her shaking her
They
head.
called him the leader of a gang through
look at her,
Detective
look at her.
Gaither and through Detective Dennis.
Oh, she's,
so to
no,
now try to close that
how
door
could he?
when they opened it
How dare he?
is, inappropriate.
Look at, did you see that face?
Try to close that door when they opened it is inappropriate.
Her, like, entire demeanor is inappropriate. It is un-freaking believable. Man, I wish someone would make a meme with all these faces.
To say that there's no good faith belief, the state sent an email the court was included on where they say that Mr. Copeland said that there's a video with him included. I believe him included. If I'm wrong, I have to refresh my memory.
Dude, she's like
Saying that he
screaming at
killed Mr.
Hilton.
Thomas. And the state said,
Look at her! Look at the finger!
asking for the defense to
Look at the finger pointing! Y'all. Nikki Hilton, by this point, could have thrown a fucking computer at this woman and should not have to go to jail. Like, that is not even assault at this point. Like, how dare you? She's finger pointing at Nick. Oh, no.
give them the video, which I'm not going to give to them until I use it. If I choose to use it, in my case, on cross. So, you know, I don't understand this no good faith. So with all that being said, you then go into what is the real relevance of this? And it's the same thing that the court that I argued earlier, the court seemingly agreed. It's how the police did their investigation. Detective Dennis said,
Look
and
at
I
her now.
quote, to Mr. Copeland, We just heard it. You are the prime suspect, but pull yourself out of the equation. That's how we got here. That's how this prime witness got to be the prime witness. He is making up statements against Mr. Williams and others. And I believe that everything that he said based upon his lies, I'm not saying Mr. Thomas had anyone killed or put a hit on anyone. It's the same thing as Rich Homie Quan. It's another false allegation by Mr. Copeland. The jurors get to see, because I'm asserting that Mr. Copeland made false allegations against Mr. Williams and others. So that's why I believe that it's relevant. And the state shouldn't be able to just say to the court, well, we are God, and we decided Mr. Copeland had nothing to do with it, therefore these statements don't come in.
Very good point, Steele.
To determine.
All right.
Yeah, Raynette. Finger pointing is rude, especially finger pointing in your face when we're supposed to be co-workers.
Again,
Come
if you
on.
listen to what Mr. Copeland says, he doesn't say Mr. Thomas had someone killed. He says, this is what I heard. This is the rumor that is out here. I don't know about that, but this is what I'm hearing. So again, Mr.
John, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Oh my goodness. The lucky 5 that get those memberships, welcome. Thank you so much. Oh man, Grateful got one, Jesse got one, Ron got one, CJ got one, K-Pig got one. Thank you so much, John. Oh, amazing.
Mr. Copeland has never said that Mr. Thomas did anything. This is a rumor, and yet we still don't have a case law that allows what they're trying to have the court do. There is no exception to bring in what they're trying to do, which is a specific act to show the character of Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas, if they're trying to bring a character, it has to come through reputation or pity. That's first and foremost.
I don't think it's character. I think what they're trying to do is just impeach him.
Motive.
And they're trying to impeach him on the issue of whether or not he has told another falsehood.
Brown came over, told Love something. Love says, hold on. So nobody else can disturb Love, but Love can disrupt everybody else while they're working.
Discrepancy. And they're also trying to bring in, in fact, from the interview of the police and how they asked him about this particular
That sigh?
So
Did you hear that
a
sigh?
collateral issue, because again, whatever happened with this rumor of a killing of someone else is collateral to whether or not Kenneth Copeland or anyone else killed Donovan Thomas. What we're here for is the question of fact is, did the individuals charged have something to do with the murder of Donovan Thomas? What they are asking for you to bring in is Mr. Copeland talking to police about a rumor he heard in the street. Again, if they're trying to impeach him on a collateral, that's a collateral matter, and it's not allowed. And there is no evidence one way or the other.
Thank you.
Before this jury to even impeach him on that particular portion of his interview.
Play it again, please, Matt.
Sure.
I want you to play 748.
Y'all, Match and Miss Love is a mom.
749:33.
Okay.
You guys want to know how you become as fucked up as I am? You have a mother like Miss Love. That's how. She reminds me
I'm gonna start a little bit earlier.
so much of my mom.
Of course that's relevant. Of course that's relevant.
Again, he's saying he does not know.
I swear to Christ. I'm so glad I don't have to work with this woman. I swear to God, I would quit my fucking job. I will find a new job. Mid-trial, I would quit my job.
And or knowledge, whether it's through hearsay, through rumors or whatever, his belief that Mr. Thomas follows through, of course that's relevant. Of course that's relevant.
Again, he's saying he does not know if he did it. This is, I think we'd be in the same predicament if he said, I know this happened, but He says, I don't know what happened. I have no idea. And yet they want to bring in the state of mind.
Oh, God, she's awful. She's so irksome.
Let's not talk about state of mind. I think it comes in just for impeachment, okay? State of mind is, I haven't heard any case law in that respect, but impeachment?
But impeachment as to what, Your Honor? Because they're saying it's impeachment to what? Because this is not contradictory to him saying that these individuals killed Mr. Thomas.
As Mr. Steele brought up earlier, you brought up, at least as he indicates, a few times that did our current witness kill Nut, okay? Whether or not that's true or not, you know, if there's a foundation for that to be asked, they can ask it.
Right, but what they're trying to get into is whether or not Mr. Thomas killed someone. That's not impeachment to that question. What Mr. Thomas may or may not have done does not directly impeach the question of Mr. Copeland did not kill Donovan Thomas. So that's what I'm trying to ask. What is the impeachment?
I got you. Mr. Shard, do you have any case law, since you're saying state of mind or anything like that? I understand what Mr. Steele's saying, and that may be...
Okay, remember, today there was a whole argument about how they overused the state of mind and present sense impression exceptions to hearsay. And I agree.
Does anybody have any type of transcript I can take a look at what was said? I can parse it out.
No, the state never made a transcript.
We have a rough transcript, but it's...
I'll look at the defense.
Unbelievable.
Got a version, and the state's got a version. I need to kind of see what's actually said in writing, because it's hard for me to kind of listen to it.
I feel like yesterday and today was kind of like the most like real work they've done. Like how courtroom work is really supposed to go. You know, you talk to the other party. I don't want this piece in. They say, I don't want this piece in. You see if you can come to a conclusion. If you don't, the judge reviews it. You make your arguments. The judge makes a decision. So I do feel like the last few days have kind of been like more normal court, so to speak. Of course, with the exception of Miss Love and her dramatic and ridiculous facial expressions. So I'm Lauren Cadillac. I'm an attorney in Dallas, Texas. I do real estate, and that means I'm in a courtroom quite often. I am not a criminal defense attorney, but I started watching this trial in particular because I was interested in the First Amendment right issue in terms of using lyrics against someone. I think that's a very interesting, shitty thing for the government to do. So I started watching, and of course it has been a total shit show ever since, and I am always here for a train wreck, okay? So I thank all of you who have joined me, all of you who are here today. I'm hoping that you all hit like, and I'm hoping that y'all subscribed as well. For those of you who have become members, I am so greatly appreciative. For those of you who have done super stickers, Cashapp donations, all of those things, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you again. We're not sure when the Georgia Supreme Court is going to be reviewing these issues. We know they are going to be reviewing Steele's contempt. And we know that in reviewing Steele's contempt, they will have to see the transcript from the ex parte hearing. And then we can guess pretty confidently that a mistrial will be declared at that point, okay? Because we know the judge is not allowed to have a meeting with the prosecution and a witness without letting the defense know. We know that's reversible error. Once an upper court sees reversible error, they're going to put an end to it. Boom. So we do not know if there's actually going to be trial on August 13th. But if there is, I will be there. I will be at the courthouse the afternoon of the 13th after the lunch break. I land that morning. So I'm going to come to the courthouse the afternoon of the 13th. And then we will do a meet and greet the evening of the 13th. If there's still trial on the 14th, we will meet at the trial and watch trial on the 14th. However, it's probably not going to be trial in that time. I'm still going to do the meet and greet. The wonderful Tavonda, she purchased me these beautiful earrings, and a bunch of earrings actually, and these were the ones that specifically looked like Attorney Love's, Lying Love's earrings, so that's why I wore these today. Tavonda convinced me that I should do the meet and greet whether or not there's trial. So no matter what, on August 13th, I will be doing a meet and greet in Atlanta. I did a survey, and I think we've come up with the place. I think it was called Hudson's or something. It definitely started with an H. So I will give you more details about that as I come up to those details. I'll let you know. Today we went over the Weinstein motion for writ off to the Supreme Court of Georgia, and I'm relatively confident that if they in fact decide that they have the jurisdiction to make that decision, they too will be forced to remand. Now maybe the Supreme Court will hear both of those issues together, the Weinstein and the Steele compel or contempt issue, but I don't know. I don't know if they're going to combine those or how any of that works. And I don't know how long it will take because I don't know how the Georgia Supreme Court works. I know appeals take forever here in Texas, so I know that. Okay, so I can't tell you how long anything's going to take. I can tell you that this is the only way a superior upper court is going to review Glanville's behavior, and this is the only way that his conduct can be stopped for this case. In the future, his conduct can be stopped if the voters vote against him, and potentially if we, like the public, make claims to the Board of Judicial Conduct and there is some kind of investigation. I'm hoping that the Supreme Court sees this conduct and goes, holy shit, and requires a review of all of Glanville's past trials that he's been in charge of, because this one has really put a cloud on the others, and it really makes you wonder if he's done his job right ever at all. Like, does he even know how to do his job properly? Okay. Woof. All right. So I'm going to go through your comments real quick, and then we're going to call it a day. I will be doing bonus material next week. The judge said that they're going to do, on Monday and Tuesday of next week, they're going to be doing more like they did on Thursday and Friday of this week. So we should see kind of 2 abbreviated motion hearing days. But then the week after, they're not going to be doing much. And so I know for a fact there's going to be a day there's no court. On that day, I will do a video about impeachment. What is impeachment? How do you impeach? How does that work? Etc. Okay? So be on the lookout next week for that bonus footage. I am here every Friday at 10 a.m. to either watch what's going on live, if something is going on live, or recap what happened that week. And in fact, I will be here on the 5th. I might have a different background because I'll probably be working from home, but I will join you guys on the 5th, the day after the 4th of July, and we'll go from there. All right, so let me get into your comments. Someone said, I feel bad for Miss Love's husband. I don't think Miss Love is on that team. I think she's on the team that Gaither's on, based off of the interactions between her and Gaither in the courtroom. It appeared to me that they hung out in the same clubs, so to speak. So I don't know that Love has a husband, but whoever Miss Love has in her life is certainly quite miserable. If she treats people that way in the courtroom, one can only imagine. Now, I will say I have a very different courtroom identity than home identity, okay? Like, who I am at home is a wonderful, loving mother, a supportive and loving partner. Who I am in the courtroom is a fucking bulldog who is there to win, okay? So when it comes to, like, relations with my children, it's not a win-lose. It's a let's work together so we can have a loving relationship for the rest of our lives. Ooh, Scott, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. I really appreciate it. All of you, thank you so much for all of your super chats, for all of your Cash Apps, donations, everything. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Scott A. One of my first and like deepest crushes was named Scott. In fact, my first kiss was a Scott. Back in 6th grade, we went and saw the movie. Was it 6th grade? Maybe 7th. We saw the movie Babe, and we kissed, and I was so bad. I went home and I showered for like 3 hours and just like rinsed out my mouth. So Scott, I'm sure you're a better kisser than he was, but that was something that your name definitely reminds me of. Okay, so Dog Mom says, you can't tell me that the judge doesn't see Miss Love's behavior. Well, we got several things, Dog Mom. He does see her behavior, but he doesn't care. He condones it. And I also saw a video that had Glanville's wife, and Glanville's wife is like a 30 to 40 pound heavier version of Miss Love. So I feel like he just runs his courtroom like he runs his home, which means he doesn't run it because his wife is running his home, I'm fairly confident. And I just think that when Miss Love does things, he maybe is a little softer with her because she reminds him of his wife. B. Billy, I'm sorry you two had a mother like mine. It was a hard 40 years. Luckily, I think I've gone through most of the healing and I'm pretty much over it. But my mother, like every time I see Miss Love, God, her foundation of anger that resides inside of her just is so much like my mother. Ugh. And they're just like that desire to micromanage. I can't do that. I'm not trying to micromanage anyone. I don't have time for that shit. You deal with your own life, okay? Thank you. Ron, the judge is never going to say anything. It's not happening. T-Top, thank you for joining. Woody isn't here today. He's not going to be in for the next 2 weeks because they are doing motion hearings. They're doing things outside of the presence of the jury. Vintage CB says we need to get Miss Hilton a stress ball. Well, I'm about to launch a merch store and maybe we could get a stress ball and send it to her. OG Cadillac says chill out. I'm trying to be nice. As soon as I get the merch stuff set up, y'all, I will definitely share that with you. I'm very excited. Yeah, today was just a motions hearing day and they're already done. John says, do you think the cameramen did this on purpose to make sure we see all of the prosecution's asses whenever they stand? No, I don't think so. I think that's just where the cameras are angled, and they have to be angled that way because they can't catch any of the jury. And I think the prosecution just forgets that it's there and gets their butt in the shot. Who knows? Yeah, Yvette, it was very... it's always painful to watch, especially when you're seeing all of the faces of Miss Love. My God. Atrocious. It looks like the state and judge use the folks' street names. Yeah, they've been using street names quite a bit, and it's really weird. It's kind of switched with Woody. Before they were using government names, but now that Woody is on the stand, it seems that they've switched to just pure street names for everyone. Let's see. If he had an honest person brave enough to take the stand to speak to investigators, investigation techniques, and how suspects be put in a position to echo your seeds planted. I know, Yvette. So that's another thing. Like, they're like, oh, well, he always said XYZ to the cops. Well, it's like, but we all know cops do shitty things to get you to say stuff, right? Like, it's pretty well known that cops will lie to get you to say shit, right? If you and another person are caught together, they'll come in, oh, well, she's giving you up. She's really giving you up, hoping that you'll give the other person up. The answer, anytime you're around the police, the answer is, I would like my attorney. Always. That's the only words that should come out of your mouth. I would like my attorney. May I please have my attorney? I need my attorney. Shut the fuck up and ask for an attorney. Okay? That's my legal advice to you. Shut the fuck up and ask for an attorney. All right? Enya, what's up with the chuckling Attorney Hilton does when she's making her points? I don't know. Miss Love does it too. It's like, does not belong in a courtroom. Completely inappropriate for a courtroom. Fine if you're fighting with your friends. Completely inappropriate for the courtroom. Robert, welcome. He says this is a circus of a trial and a waste of time and money. I have said 1,000 times, if I were a person in Fulton County, Georgia, I would be outside picketing and saying, I want my money back right the fuck now. Right now, I want my money back. This is such a waste. Andre says, do you know that Thug isn't even charged with the murder, only Yak and SB? Yes, Andre. And in fact, I did a whole video on the indictment, and we go over who is charged with what. So thank you for bringing that up, and go check out that indictment video. Body Glass says, yes, this should have been done before trial. The evidence should have been exchanged before trial, too. But as you recall, Glanville wouldn't make a single fucking ruling. He would hear things and he'd say, oh, well, I'll make a ruling on it later. All 100% of the delays of this trial are because of Glanville. So. Hall says, Woody came through and messed up the whole case. You are so right. Oh, Grateful got an introduction to law book. Congratulations. That's excellent. Now, like I said, when I'm done with y'all will be mini lawyers. Okay? You will. Oh, yeah, Tamika. Love did end up leaving yesterday, and she's actually been leaving early several days, which is very nice. Like, thank God. Rogue says, if Fanny ties to If Gang got them all super invested. We don't know that Fanny has ties to If Gang. Ron says she's got him looking up Georgia law. Love reminds me of Rasputia from the movie Norbit. I never saw the movie Norbit. Rogue says this is like communist Russia, which is exactly what Mr. Steele said, YSL Steele said last week. He stood up and said this is like communist Russia, which I think is kind of funny because I don't think we actually know what communist Russia is like, first of all. And secondly, in my understanding of like communist nations is that you are not actually getting a trial, let alone like kind of a trial, right? Like at least they're getting kind of a trial here. So I mean that's it. But yeah, this is like communist Russia came out of this. Ron says his mother-in-law acts this way. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Lots of people act the way Miss Love does, and it's shitty. Let's see. Hi, Amanda. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Mary, thank you for joining us. Let's see. Can you talk more about filming in all trials? No, Vintage, I can't. All trials are not filmed, only exciting ones. All trials are open, though. So we have an open court system. Y'all can go down to the courthouse today and just go sit in trials and watch them. That is your right. Okay, someone says that Hilton was wearing AKA sorority green, and I was being facetious when I said according to Georgia RICO, she's technically going to get... Well, look, according to Georgia RICOs, the AKs, the Deltas, what is it, the Kappas, the Alphas, the Omegas, and I'm forgetting one, and I don't remember which one I'm forgetting. All of them are gangs. So are all of the other fraternities that have been established across the United States and sororities. I wouldn't know. I would never join a group like that. I won't even go to church because it's too much groupthink for me. I really cannot deal with groups, and I can't stand when groups think the same way. So I would never... Like I told my kids, don't ever try to join a fraternity or anything. That's a quick way to get disowned. So, James, thank you. I appreciate you watching. Kalia says there are only 7 seats available for court. Must arrive early. I'm not worried about that. There's plenty of seating in the other courtroom, and I won't be there early on the 13th. I'll be there when I get there. Rogue says the green is mocking YSL. The thing is these women own a lot of green for it to be mocking. So unless they went and bought the green specifically to make a mockery or whatever, I don't think so. I think they just like green. Hey, Julie. I'm glad you like the earrings. Tavanda got them for me. I was super excited. I think they're gorgeous, and I can't thank Tavanda enough. The people who pled out in RICO, do they have any recourse? No. That's why you don't plead. One of the reasons you wouldn't plead. James says Copeland, no matter what, Copeland's going to jail. My understanding is the feds might come after him. I'm hoping the feds come after the Fulton County DA, though. I'm hoping the feds see this. Always says Glanville is like most GA judges mostly rule on plea deals. I think that's true of almost every criminal judge in the whole country. They just, our country's obsessed with plea deals. Julie, thank you. Hit the like, y'all. Thank you for being here. B says you could see how love is rubbing off on Hilton. I noticed that too. I noticed over the last 9 months or so, I've seen slowly Hilton was like a kind of bright, young, whatever, and you've seen her kind of like progress downwardly. Okay. B says at one point Love went up to the podium when Hilton was there. Well, duh. Love is like the queen of pushing people out of the way with her butt. Raynette says her first kiss was a boy named Victor. Scott says Scots are good people. Well, that Scott broke my heart, Scott, okay? He broke my heart. He broke up with me on Christmas Eve, and I cried. And if he's watching, he knows who he is, and look at what you missed out on. I tease, you couldn't have had me. Okay, Body Glass says, change Avon rings every day. Love is not married. Sometimes she has a wedding ring on, sometimes she doesn't. Okay. We're all trauma bonding with Love's behavior. It's so true. It's so true. Tall Glass says, I saw a campaign video on Love. She spoke of nieces and nephews only. Well, thank God. And I bet they hate it when their mom sends her to Aunt Love's. Like, no, don't make me go stay with Aunt Adrian. I had an Aunt Tammy. I couldn't fucking stand her. My mom would be like, you're going to Tammy's house. I'm like, ah, no. Why? Luckily, at a certain age, I grew out of having to go to Aunt Tammy's house. And if Aunt Tammy's watching, I don't like you either, bitch. You and my mother are two peas in a pod. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to try to run through these real quick. And then I will let you go. You are free to leave. This is not a class. You don't have to raise your hand. Let's see. Someone said, I'm glad you're here to make it make sense. Y'all, I can't make this make sense. No matter how hard I try, none of this shit will make sense. It's crazy. Wilma says, Woody posting pictures on his IG of him on the stand. Yeah, my understanding is Woody is like hella famous now. Like, this is Woody's 20 minutes of fame, you know? And good for him. Yeah, I hope he's getting it. Raynette says they switched, and it's odd that the state has been using slurs. The slurs got the movie Django beat. That was funny when the judge said motherfucker today, huh? Let's see. The judge is slick till July, no jury till July 8th. In other words, no jury means no trial. Using time to get motions. And yes, Skylar, the judge is killing time, but I think the judge is killing time for the Supreme Court to make their ruling. And I think that's actually good, because I think the judge understands that him being the presiding judge is kind of like up in the air. And he probably really shouldn't go too heavy on the trial further, because it's probably going to be snatched out from under him. So, yeah. Oh, Cadillac's mini lawyers. Yes, y'all. Tavanda called us the trial geeks, and we could definitely be the Cadillac's lawyers in training, I'm sure. All right. Brittany Grimer gave us a Miss Sylvia and Hilton said Hilton and Love's not getting along. Yeah, I could see that, Wilma. There was one day where we saw them like fighting for the mic. And really, like, if I was Hilton, I wouldn't be getting along with Love either. She is such a bitch. James, I will be in that courtroom August 13th if the trial's still going. Willie, hello. Thank you for being polite and not a weirdo talking about my hair. Hilton snatched the mic from Love when Steele made the comment. Oh, okay, Shawnee, that was when he made that comment. Yeah. There were several times that Hilton stopped Love from going after the microphone. It was crazy. Beeman Sherman says we're watching court corruption live. It's true. It's true. It's absolutely true. And this has been more dramatic than like any reality TV show I've ever watched. And it's crazy. It is crazy. Let's see. Dom says Fanny has connections of If Gang. She represents members. Yeah, but Dom, she also represented YSL Mondo, who is like a founder of YSL. So I really don't see that. And here's the thing. Lawyers represent people for money. Okay? And my experience is that we are loyal to the dollar. We are not loyal to the client, right? So like some of our clients we become friendly with and such. But typically, I need the money. I will zealously advocate. I don't really give a shit otherwise. I really don't care. I don't care about my clients. Like, you know, I care about my clients. I care about winning their case. I care that they're healthy and successful. But, like, we don't hang out and shit, you know. Like, they're not on my Christmas card list. They're not getting pictures of my kids. So. Let's see. Spilladrilla says, YFN Love gets away with murder. Yes, she does. I won't even give her a gang. We're just going to call her Lion Love. Guy says they aren't communists anymore in Russia. I know, but he was alluding to communist Russia. Let's see. Kayla says the jury not coming in is a good thing. If they would have been sitting for hours. Yes, I agree. So the jury not coming in is a good thing for several reasons. One, they need to get these motion hearings, and the jury shouldn't have to sit for hours and be tortured. But two, we have these pending motions with the Supreme Court where the judge might be removed. So why do a bunch of substantive shit if you might have to just end the trial anyhow? Hey, Northside, welcome. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Unpopular opinions that OG said fuck the whole family. It's only one side of the family, unpopular opinion, that could be fucked, okay? Pretty much anyone who wrongs me, whether they're my blood or not, can get fucked, okay? That's just how it is. One day, my stupid cunt aunt stopped her car and beat the shit out of my sister. She stopped her car, got out, went to the back, and started hitting my sister. I think I was about 8 or 9. So there was nothing I could do about it. But now I'm an adult. So what I can do is tell everybody what a fucking cunt she is. Okay? So you stop your car to hit children, or you hit children at all, and you're a piece of shit. It's really just that easy. Really that easy, guys. Dog Mom, I'm glad that you're having fun here. I don't think that Thug is having much fun. James says, don't you think Woody's going to get ripped apart from the defense? Yeah, I think it's going to be great to watch. I think it's going to be really, really fun. So excited for the writ of Matt Damon. I don't know what that is. It says the Georgia Supreme Court is familiar with Glanville. In 2016, threw out a murder case of a 75-year-old, citing he mistakenly declared a mistrial. And my understanding is he won't declare a mistrial because of that. Willie says, I'm from Atlanta, and Woody is in hiding, can't be seen on the streets. Well, he's live on IG in Walmart. My dude said yesterday, Woody was like 2 hours in Walmart, didn't even say a word, just live streaming in Walmart. That's so weird. Northside, I think, says the judge doesn't get an F about this case anymore. He knows he fucked up. I think that's what this 2-week delay is. This 2-week delay, I think, actually has to do with the judge realizing he fucked up and he's about to be removed. So, Shawnee says Love is bullying Hilton, and that is correct. Love is a bully, and that's why we don't like it. Royce, I'm glad that you saw me on SETI, and I'm glad you're here today. And Chris, thank you. I love you too. I love all of you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for hitting like, subscribe, for the Cashapp donations, for the super stickers, for the memberships, everything. I appreciate all of you so much. So much. Or if I was my son, I would say appreciate it, guys. All right. Everyone have an awesome weekend. I am going to go finish my job for the day. Maybe do a little shopping this afternoon. And then I will be back next week. I will do bonus material of impeachment whatever day they don't have a trial. I'll be back on Friday for recap, even though we're probably only going to have about 2 or 3 days to go over. I will definitely do that, and I'm very excited. And I can't wait to see y'all. So everyone have a wonderful weekend. Thank you all so much for your support, and I will see you next week.